super battle suit is discharged into space, changing the life of one hapless duck and transforming him into a hero called Wonder Duck.
If I die tomorrow, I hope you hear these words. I ain't here to flip no birds or sip no serve. Hope the future generations can get this urge. Stay woke, youngin', and avenge these nerds.
Quack, 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 quack.
What's up, people?
I will go grab mine now.
Listen, if you guys have not, the Kickstarter is out for Wonder Duck by George Medina, who will
Hey,
be on next
George.
week.
I'll
Yes.
show you mine if you show me yours.
I got mine. I
We all
got
got
it.
it. We all got it.
Let's go.
We all
Yes.
got it. Guys, welcome to
I'm wearing
iButcher.
his shirt that he gave us next week when it comes on.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're all
me
going to be in
too.
our shirt. We're all going to be in uniform for George.
Yes.
You better prepare. Welcome to Sebastian Butchers Your Name.
Indeed, sir.
Oh no.
Phrasing. George, you love it. You love it, Joe. Make sure you check that chat, Joe. I left a nice picture for you. Anyway, yeah, welcome to Nerds of the Rounds, guys. Your boy Sebastian
It's your boy Law.
Any boy Tone from across the hall.
with the one, the only.
B-Mac. Hi, guys.
Hey, there it is.
What is up? What is up?
I'm about to petition to get added into like the opening credits.
It's
I
coming.
think
Yeah,
it's
dead
I
ass.
think it's
coming.
time.
I honestly
It's
thought
coming.
I was like, yo, we should add Val. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
ready.
I think I've been on enough shows that y'all could pull something from.
All right,
We
all
got
right.
you. Don't
All
worry.
right.
We got you.
Let's legit.
That means you.
Petitioning
That
for
means
it. I'm submitting my resume right now.
Listen,
That's it.
that means you know you. That means a commitment to every Tuesday, whether we're prepared or not. You know.
Uh-oh.
What have I been doing so far?
Oh, she's
Oh,
like,
except for sometimes I have to do Taco Tuesday out. I'm sorry, guys. No, I'm joking. I can reschedule.
So,
that's it. Are we officially naming Val our fourth? Like, let's go. I'm
Are
here
we
for
doing
it.
this? Are we really
No, no.
gonna do that?
Let's
No,
go.
it's
I want it.
excited.
I'm
All
here
right.
for it.
You guys
Val is
gotta
the
like.
fourth- Val is the fourth wheel. There we go.
Now we can
love
actually
you,
drive
Val.
this
We
car.
love you, Val. Yeah,
All
she
right.
probably could drive it better than any of us.
You know what, Seabass?
Guys,
Val's
just
almost.
wait till she gets like control of the back room like us. The problem.
Oh my
We're
God!
moving
Yo,
him.
Jesus, man!
Gero-
Come on!
Come on, see,
Come
Are
on!
you serious,
Gerald, you're
Jarrell?
on timeout.
Oh,
Bro, come on.
I'm taking away the nerd card. Taking away the nerd card.
Oh
We
no,
appreciate the
Jarrell.
view. We appreciate the view, and then we know you'll jump off, when it's appropriate. But we do appreciate the support.
Stick with us until Moonknight, at least.
Announcements. Next week's George Medina will be on talking Wonder Duck. That beat is so
Quack,
dope.
quack.
I believe he
Quack.
worked on that with Morgan Quaid. Morgan Quaid, who was on the show, did his own comic and everything. Please go check that back. It's our episodes on demand. And he also worked in music and everything. And George and him got together to make that phenomenal beat that you guys got to hear in the beginning. Also, too, again, we want to give a big shout out with Lou Seif for designing our beat. Make sure you're checking him out as well. His album, you can listen to it on Spotify and everything.
I know he's waiting for Star Wars to come back out
Oh yeah, we're talking
And
about.
we gotta have him.
Obi-Wan.
We gotta have him back, man.
for
Have him
Obi-Wan.
back and just
Obi-Wan
drop
at
it
the end
from
of the month.
Obi-Wan.
At the end of the month. Yay.
Also, to make sure you guys are listening to the Medusa's Cascade podcast every Saturday on Spotify or wherever you can listen to a podcast at, or mbon.com. The Medusa's Cascade, the D&D podcast that keeps going. It's been a 2-year campaign, still going on strong, and it is building into probably a big multiverse. I don't know.
We are slowly getting into our episode 100. It is a very, very surreal thought to think like, oh shit, we put in 100 episodes.
Syndication. Next on the list is make sure you guys check out the link.
Hello,
Woo,
brothers.
Make sure you guys check out. I mean, I could send you guys the link if you want it, but Puppet Church is out, issue 1, book 1. Got to work on that with the awesome Janine. She was on last week. We talked about the book and everything. It is free for you guys to read. The link is posted in last week's episode. Check it out. Make sure you click the link, support the project, and issue 2 is starting to be worked on. But that is it for announcements, because we have an awesome guest who also hosts his own YouTube show, his own podcast. Big wrestling fan, big nerd, works in the indie scene with comics and all that. I had the pleasure of jumping on his show, getting to talk WrestleMania early in March, which was fun just to nerd out about wrestling. So we want to give a big, warm welcome from the Izzy verse himself, the one, the only Izzy.
What's
That's good. Welcome to the show.
Yes.
What's
Oh,
up?
I
What's
love the
up?
background.
You like it? Now you can actually read it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Legit.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Welcome,
Great.
Izzy.
Great.
Welcome.
Welcome to the
Yeah.
show. That was
Good to
probably
be
one
here.
of Seabass's better intros. So like,
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
honored right
listen,
now.
listen.
He
He's got to
fudges
rep
up
the
often.
people. He's got to rep the people he can talk wrestling with, since that is one thing we cannot get nerdy with him with.
That's
Really? You can't do
fair.
the wrestling thing?
Not like
I am-
him.
Not
Like,
anymore.
yeah.
I used
I
to.
I am
Recently, not so much.
We
His
did Royal Rumble, didn't we, Sebastian? It was
It
actually
was
Royal Rumble.
Royal Rumble. Yeah, it was Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
Royal
we
Rumble.
did.
We got to talk about our picks, and none of my picks won. God damn it.
I've
about
been
right.
in
But
Sounds
the
about
one,
right.
the one thing that the one pick that like the wild card we had showed up, but he showed up like 3 pay-per-views later with Cody, right? It's like, oh, now he shows. He's gonna show up at Royal Rumble.
Contracts, man, contracts. But anyway, we want to welcome you to the show, Izzy. So what we're gonna do first is this. We're going to do this first. Hey, Tone. You know what time it is.
Okay,
It's
okay,
time,
so-
baby. It's time.
So we're gonna be doing Moon Knight first, correct?
Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay, because
Just-
I
just-
believe Doctor
just put it out.
Strange gets its own appropriate
I
spoiler
agree.
warning, because there was so much that happened. Anyway, so we are talking the final episode of what we hope is not just a series but a season of Moon Knight. And finally, I feel appropriate that we have some legit fucking spoilers tonight, where we finally got the man himself, Jake Lockley, shows up
Yes.
at the end and pops a cap and hurls ass talking in Spanish. And it was lovely. We got the comic book accurate Spectre license plate in the vehicle, and the comic book accurate of Khonshu rocking that amazing suit. So, hashtag Khonshu suit. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of that. And also to to what we have to do in Marvel, whether you love it or you hate it, a big fucking CGI fight between Khonshu and Ahmet. Did we need it? I'm not so sure. I really enjoyed all the story elements that we got in that final episode. But anyway, let's get your thoughts, people. Aunt May has died. Let's get to it.
There we go. So Izzy, we're gonna break your nerds.
It's Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Jerry.
This time.
So Izzy, we're gonna break you in. So we're gonna get your thoughts on Moon Knight. How did you feel about this series? Give us your take and everything. Go ahead. Boom. The floor's on you.
All right, thanks a lot, Sebastian. So, really, I loved it. I loved it being a guy who read Moon Knight. I have plenty of Moon Knight comic books in my closet, some of which I don't even know what their value is because I haven't checked them out in a while. Because the first appearance of Arthur Harrow is only, I'll tell you guys right now, if you didn't know, 1 issue only. That's how many times he showed up in the comic books. For 1 book only. So they had liberties with him. But overall, I think as a series as a whole, it was strong, especially episode 4 and 5. I think those are my 2 favorite episodes. Episode 6, though, we had that nice, battle, that Kaiju battle.
That's like Kaiju battle
All right.
Marvel.
It only took 6 souls to make Ahmed as huge as she was, right? I think that
was
was
hungry.
probably yo. I didn't know it took that many souls to get that big. I can imagine if she had that many more. But really, episode 4 and 5 were my favorite. Episode 6 is a little sloppy. My throwaway would be episode 3. If I want to, go back, I'll just go back to episode 3. It's like I really didn't need all that. You could have cut that in half and give me more in episode 6, and it would probably be a little more complete, if you know what I mean. But of course, you said it best. Jake Lockley, we've been waiting for him, right? Saw him a few times. We just didn't know we saw him a few times. So
We've seen him since day 1.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we have.
he made appearances. You just didn't know it was him. So
Oh, yeah.
that was cool.
I loved it. I have a love hate relationship with Moon Knight, which I told everybody. It is a love hate relationship. I don't hate the show, like hate it. I think it is a great Marvel show still up there. I feel, and like I'm telling everybody, I feel like this should have been more of a movie where the Eternals should have been more of the show because of the Eternals lore. It's very heavy. But as far as it goes, the director did his job, and he is trying to push to get a season 2 because he wants to do more with the character. And Oscar Isaacs has said that if they do present them with the right script, he would definitely return with the character. Val, go ahead. I know you've been picking on me this whole week about it.
It's all about
It's
money. It's not the right
Oscar
script.
Isaacs was my baby throughout this entire series. I absolutely loved him so much, 10 times over. I mean, I don't really, it's not like I followed him other than Poe Dameron in the Star Wars movies. However, this was so good. Especially, I think in the last episode, you really see how he's able to switch off Steven and him and Mark so quickly and swap between the two when they were talking to Harrow in that psych ward room. And then at the end to give us Jake Lockley, I would have liked to have seen him in actual action, more so like in the midst of everything. However, it was just so good. I think that this show, not my worst, not my favorite, but it falls somewhere within fourth or fifth place out of these 6 series that we've seen so far. For me, it toggles between Hawkeye and What If for me.
Law, take it away with that one.
Uh I want to say I love the show. I really like the show, though there was parts that I wanted that didn't come yet or maybe will come later. There's other parts where I was like, we didn't need all of this. Like to Izzy's point. So I definitely rank it like 7.5, 8. Like it's a solid series, but it wasn't like for me. It wasn't like a Loki. It wasn't a Wanda. It didn't do something where I was just like, holy shit. Um, I will say this like season finale, like wrap things up kind of nicely. I wish we'd have got Jake a little bit sooner, though we got him throughout the entire season. I wish we'd have got that reveal sooner because we all knew it was coming. We just
Mhm.
didn't know when and how. And I like halfway like that reveal, but I also feel like, meh, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
this was the wait. Oh, ooh, wrong character. Wrong character.
That's the
what are
fifth,
you?
right?
Oh no!
That's the
You're
fifth
not funny.
persona.
You're not funny. Don't be disrespecting. Don't be
Oh no!
disrespecting. You're not funny.
We are not doing that. I mean, also, none of us talked about Layla's costume. Layla
Ooh,
looked like a
I
whole
loved
ass
her.
boss.
Yeah.
Like I am here for
That's
it.
yes. Layla was so lit. I was actually really excited about that. I'd like to see, and she was kicking ass. It was awesome. She gave me Xena
Like
vibes.
you could drop Oscar. We know Oscar looks good. Like Layla got guns, son. Like she has guns.
Yeah,
I'm here for it.
how do we all feel about the introduction of again the Scarlet Scarab, aka Layla? Tone, I'll let you lead with that one.
Oh, is that her official canon name? Is the Scarlet
Yeah.
Scarab?
It's
Yep.
the Scarlet Scarab. Yeah.
Nice. No, I listen, when you hear that she was gonna be her avatar, I was like, all right, cool, she's about to get a suit. And then she's like, I've got a great suit for you. And I was like, all right, what's it gonna be? What's the theme gonna be here? And then she comes out and whips out the wings with the blades at the end. I was like, I was so here for this and didn't know that we needed her as a super character. Like her as a supporting role and seeing her later down the line, she was killing it. But now moving her up the echelon of leads that we'll have in Marvel, I think she's a fantastic add-on, and I can't wait to see her do more with the character and her kind of face more of these greater threats. Because if you're going to give a person a suit, you're not just going to keep them in the back, the back burner. She's going to show up eventually in whatever ensemble case for the Avengers or however we're going to do it. But I think, for the show too and how we ended, I think surprisingly, because we were all doubting it last week, as Val was like, just wait and see. They surprisingly made a landing here. I was shocked because I was doubting it based on the runtime of the episode and where we were going. They were able to button this shit up tight.
Right. Do
in
you guys still feel
43 minutes.
incomplete now? I said it last week.
I do believe that I do believe it is a disservice if we don't get a second season or something with Moon Knight in a serial, because of the cliffhanger we had and with Jake Lockley. Because I think having Jake Lockley in a movie and then figuring all that out, I think would take away from the movie. And like we want to have him and Mark and Steven kind of all deal with that in a show, and maybe it's the next show or something. It's not called Moon Knight, so that's how they can get away with it. But I want to see them deal with that conflict before he moves into the movies. Because if we don't, I think
I want to
a
see him
guest
back in New
a
York.
guest star in Blade. I think that's where we're going to see him again.
Yeah. Yo.
That's Layla's
I would.
problem.
Apparently, the original Scarlet Scarab in Marvel is Abdul Faul. Is that the name of her father's character in the show?
I didn't even check that.
It's a man. I just looked up the Scarlet.
I know
Wasn't
the
the Scarlet Scarab a villain?
I
No,
believe
Scarlet
the
Scarab wasn't a
protector
villain.
of
He was actually one of the invaders with it. So the invaders are a World War II group that had Captain America,
the original Human Torch,
the Human Torch, Submariner was part, and Scarlet Scarab. He was kind of like a second tier version of them, kind of like their version of West Coast Avengers in a way. And honestly, a throwaway type character.
Again, it's one of those characters they have creative control over and could do whatever they want because no one.
So with Moon Knight in particular, I have to say when it comes to those characters, not a lot of people know a lot about him, even within the comic book industry, right? Moon Knight, the only thing that they had to make sure they got right was the fact that he has DID, right? Because they kind of even erased the fact that he's Marvel's version of Batman, because that's what he is.
Right. They took that away with changing Steven's persona entirely. The same thing with Jake Lockley's persona. They gave us completely different characters in his alternate personalities.
I think good.
But to make it really quick, Jake in particular was still the driver, because in the comic books he's a taxi driver. So
but now he's Spanish.
Yeah. So Val, just
and a murderer.
To answer your question in regards to the Abdul Faul, who's his name, her last name is El Fouali. So essentially it's spelled with an extra, with the L in the front and then an extra Y. So I think they probably did that on purpose.
Yeah.
They probably did that on purpose to add it like a little Easter egg. Yeah.
But I also think it's nice that, like, in real life, she's actually Egyptian. And, like, you saw that quick scene of her and the little girl, like, are you a superhero? And she was like, yeah. Like, I think that was really dope. Like, that was super sweet. And, like, come on. Like,
it shows a lot more inclusion. It gives girls a strong character to look forward to. And also, with different cultures. Definitely.
Yeah. Like, I said it before, like, the missed opportunity with, like, I love Oscar, but not casting a Jewish actor because he's one of, like, Marvel's, like, prominent Jewish, like, heroes or just figures in Marvel was, like, a missed bag. And I'm like, come on, guys. I love Oscar Isaac all day, every day. But that one thing.
Well, it felt like, so I think one of the concerns there, if we're just to briefly touch on it, is that it seems like they treated his Judaism more as his religion than his culture and race. Because there's definitely, like, because there's also that too. But they treated it more like his religion and kind of left it on the back burner of like dealing with sitting in Shabbat and all that, and not really dealing with the issues of being a Jewish person. So, like, his father being a Holocaust survivor and all that. And I don't know if that was I don't know what line they were trying to toe. I think maybe that was like, we really want Oscar Isaac to do this, but we don't have a Jewish actor, so maybe we'll play on the fact that it's his religion versus his culture. It's a whole, I don't know. It was a real tight line.
It's damned if you do, damned if you don't.
But I agree. Where Marvel Phase 4 has really done its part to do its DEI, and if we're gonna just talking that on paper, seeing a Jewish actor play a Jewish Marvel character probably would have been a better use of the representation. But that's not Oscar's fault, and what he did, what he was given, was fantastic.
Well, keep in mind that it wasn't just about his Jewish background, right? It was about the DID part, and they needed to find an actor who could do that. I think it will be a shame if he doesn't get nominated for an Emmy for this
Yeah.
kind of performance, because it's like the reason why episode 5 is my favorite is the fact that he had to deal with that duality of character, right? And it's just that that is not easy, and that is, let's just say, a role like that is an actor's dream. The fact that you got to play a schizophrenic character that just switches, right? That's what got Joaquin Phoenix a job. That's what, anybody who plays a role like that, they're doing it because they're thinking about that award that they might potentially get. And it's also nice that it's a Marvel,
Oh, yeah.
Marvel cash. You know what I'm saying?
And
So
I love the fact they gave him some creative control of that character, where he, again, his part of his creative control was the fact that he changed the dialect and the like how you heard the characters when he spoke as Steven, when he spoke as what is it?
Mark
Mark. And then when we finally got him at the end,
as
when he
Jake.
spoke as Jake, and then he changed it up, and he changed it where he's speaking Spanish. And I was like, okay, this is you see very, like you said, to your point, Izzy, where you see very few people and actors who get to do that with their characters, and he got to do that in this show.
The last person
and-
was McAvoy in Split. Like the last person that we all saw like do that kind of like transformation where like each character was totally different.
yeah,
and he was snubbed. Everybody was talking about him getting some kind of nomination. When you talk about McAvoy, he was snubbed all the way because everybody said Split. He made that movie Split, right? It wasn't that it was a M. Night Shyamalan movie, which it was. No one cared at that moment. What they cared was seeing James McAvoy doing all the crazy stuff he was doing.
Like you have to count that he's one person playing. I think it was like 26 different alters or some craziness like that. That's wild.
and
And
then
there was really like 5 alters. All the other ones were
Right.
kind of like
In the
just
background.
throwaways. Yeah.
But sure.
it's just those main alters he's played. But Val, go ahead, Tom.
No, I was just saying, just talking about that point of Oscar kind of going back and forth between Steve and Mark. The director had mentioned that there's a cut scene where Oscar Isaac character Mark and Steve get to confront their mother, and he is switching back and forth between Mark and Steve, and the director's like, he's like, it's a gem of a shot, and it was really sad that they had to cut it, but he's hoping that they release it because he was like, Oscar Isaac is just fantastic. And
Did they say why they cut it? Like,
I don't know. Maybe I don't know if
Runtime,
because it didn't
Maybe
fit.
no longer
or
relevance. Maybe.
kind of like how they cut us seeing Morgan as an adult after Tony did the snap. They cut that scene. So maybe something like that of what they were trying to do, because like that cathartic moment of him dealing with his mother, it wasn't something we needed. It was his reason as to why he got it. Is the reason why DID happened or why it came up. So I don't know if they needed him to have that moment of confronting her to move his character forward or to make him whole and to balance his scales when he needed to reconcile with Steve and Mark needed to reconcile to balance the scales. So that's probably why. But they did say if they get to show it, it's a fantastic piece of work. I mean, we got to see it too when he was switching his suits, like the seamless switching of suits when he's doing it, and so seeing it in like a fun moment like that, just seeing it probably in an intense moment with his mother, probably is like
It
peak.
must be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It must be great.
Also,
I mean,
kudos for like, so having a scene where you're conveying so much emotion, like getting that closure with your mother in that scene would have been fantastic to see. But kudos to him for like playing Steven and Mark in a fight scene where you have to switch fight styles, like voice lines and everything, like and personality changes within one seamless fight.
yeah.
So I got a question
Ridiculous.
for you guys, and I want Val to lead in this one. How did you feel how Conchu played Mark and Steven at the end when he was like, "Oh, my contract's done with you, but I still have Jake in my pocket." So Val, go right ahead.
How do I feel about that? I mean, we knew Conchu wasn't going to leave him. That's his greatest asset. That's not something he was just going to let go so easily. I'm surprised that Mark trusted that so quickly. Like, bro, that's probably one of the biggest surprises that I have. Conchu, you've been working with him. Why do you think he was so willing to let you go? And there's so many things that he doesn't even understand about himself. Why hasn't he questioned that? And how is it so easy for himself to block out that side of him? So it just opened more questions in my mind as to he knows there's something missing, but he's not questioning it or that he's not exploring it. And that's probably my only hole in the show. Hi, Michelle. Hi.
Izzy, jump right in.
So I'm going to go a step further with that idea. I believe that obviously Khonshu knew about the
Absolutely.
third personality. That's obvious, right? But he was able to strike a deal with them because they don't know about the third personality. They never did,
Hmm.
right? Because at the same time, there, again, we saw Jake a few times. When they were on the cliff, Jake does the killing, right? If there's killing being involved, it's Jake doing the killing, right?
Yeah.
The true
Yeah.
mercenary is Jake. It's not Mark. You would think Mark is. He's more of the adventurer of the group.
Hmm.
Um, but the other thing is talking another person we haven't spoke about yet, which I'm sure we will, is Ethan Hawke's Arthur Harrow, who is amazing as well. He said he pretty much put it right in Mark's face. It's like, I wonder why he picked you. Is because your mind's already broken. So that's a perfect example of Conchu picking him because of what he could do with him. So of course they're
Right.
gonna say, let's strike a deal. And Conchu knows that the third guy's there, but they don't know there's a third guy. So he's like, sure, I'm gonna release you two. I won't deal with you two because, to be quite honest, I don't care about you two. It's this third guy I want
He
because
does
he's
what
the
I
one
want
that's
him to
gonna
do.
he's gonna do my dirty work, right?
Hmm.
Exactly. So I think that part in particular was just Kanju just outsmarting them because he's a god, right? I
Yeah.
love the fact that he's a sarcastic god because you don't normally see that, right? Because I love the I was like, oh, we got the stupid one. I love the way he
Mm.
talked to them, right? You don't see gods talking like that. He's talking to them in like, ugh, you again, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So, let me go talk to Mark, and he's just telling them. So that's my take on the whole Kanju side of things.
That part was when we all
Yeah.
started questioning.
Yeah, was it you? Yeah, I think
Correct.
that's the part where he really should have started questioning Conchu. Was like, what's going on if Steven doesn't know what's going on? What the hell is going on? Law, take your take on that one.
I think on some level, like, so you saw throughout the entire series that he was so ready to be done with Conchu. And he knew Conchu wasn't going to give him up that easily. But to your point, like, yes, he gave him up that easily. Like, oh yeah, sure, I'll release you from the contract, whatever the case is, because I still have Jake. But to some degree, when Tone was like, "Oh, why did he accept that deal so quickly?" is probably because he knew Contra was lying. Like, part of him knows that his fate is still going to be somehow intertwined with his, and he's
Right.
just like, "Whatever it is, what it is. As long as it buys me time that I don't have to deal with you, I can fucking care less." You know what I mean? Like, he's like, I think he would like being a Moon Knight if it weren't for being Contra's avatar, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't mind being Moon
I
Knight.
think he hasn't. I think at this point in the character, he hasn't discovered a reason to enjoy being Moon Knight yet.
Hmm.
I think this was more of an obligation and try to protect Layla at this point. However, eventually, I think he will come to a point where he's enjoys the superhero side of this, being able to make a difference. I don't think he's there yet at this point of the character's growth.
So I want
Hey
someone's
Michelle, what's up? To Michelle's point earlier, what you posted a few seconds ago, I think I believe Steve is the one that takes the pain. I believe
Yes,
the
Steve
the
takes the pain. I think Jake dishes out the pain. Like,
exactly
he's the outlet for it.
he's the rage.
Right.
Hmm.
He's the rage of it, right? That's the way I see it. Steven's there to put him in a soft place, and that's why Steve is kind of like the dorky one of the group, right?
Mhm.
Um, and
I
Mark is who he is. Mark is exactly who he is.
Oh
I
yeah.
wonder what initiates Jake. Like we saw what initiated Steven with his tear away with his mother and everything he went through there. But what was the trigger that initiated Jake? And that's what I want to see.
Do you think it was his time in the mercenary company?
It
Because
was.
I feel like that might be it.
So it was the time of war. So what the rumors are, if we explore the second season, which I think is almost guaranteed to happen, it's just a talk of money. That's all it is at the end of the day, right? It's like, how much money are you give me now? Okay, we're gonna strike an agreement here. Um, I believe Jake came about at a situation where he had intense rage, and just like he made Steve a character based off of the abuse he was dealing with when he was in a more when a situation of war. That's where Jake came for the first time. So I think they were talking about doing it, but I think they're saving that up. I honestly think they're saving for a second season. I think this is going to be a second season show. I don't think it's going to be a movie. I don't think it makes sense to make it a movie.
So, if we do get a second season, who does everyone think would be like the big bad? Like, what would they be going against at this point?
Bushman.
Yeah?
Bushman
They
would probably
hinted at
Okay.
Bushman.
ideally, I think that they can incorporate that because especially if Layla decides to keep stay as the avatar of Hippo God. I forgot.
And also
Tawet.
Yes.
and also
Um,
too. Yeah, go ahead, Val. Go.
So
Keep.
I was just gonna say to exact some sort of revenge for her father, they may end up reaching to that. I think Bushman would be an ideal route to go, but it could be someone bigger behind it that they think is Bushman and it ends up being someone else. Could be just a scapegoat.
So I want Tone to lead in with this one. I'm gonna just throw this question out there. Where do we think Moon Knight and his pocket universe falls in the grand scheme of things? Do we think that this is happening in MCU? Do we think this is part of a bigger multiverse with seeing that we're getting a lot of stuff with the multiverse? Where do you think this falls, and where do you think we're going to, or speculate where you think we're next going to see the character?
So it has been confirmed from the director that there were supposed to be cut-ins to the greater MCU. It was supposed to happen in the beginning of the show, and it was supposed to happen at the end of the show. They decided to they decided to not do that and keep it self-contained. I do think this is taking place in Earth 616. I think everything is taking place in Earth 616 unless told otherwise. Oh, that would have been cool. You know, and then in the greater scheme of things, like if we do the season 2 and it's with Bushman, which I do think is a really good idea because it's going to be dealing with Layla's responsibility with her power, and is it going to go towards going towards that whole vengeance thing, which is what Khonshu wanted, or doing what Tara believes in, who I think is much different. Much different. She's like very much about the duty she has in moving and passaging the souls forward. So I think that would be that's actually a really good internal conscience that she's going to have to deal with if we go down that route of her getting vengeance for the death of her father. If we don't do that, then and I'm missing the name here, but I would assume we're eventually going to get the team up that he's a part of.
Oh, Midnight Suns?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Werewolf by Night, where he debuted. So all that's part of it. So the Midnight, you said it, the Midnight Suns. No. So if anything, he's going to lead to a Midnight Suns kind of thing.
Yeah, I think we'll see him in Blade. I honestly feel like that is probably why we got him in this show, so people can familiarize themselves with this character that a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
So the one thing I'll say is he takes like a lot of Moon Knight stuff from what I know takes place in New York, and we're about to get heavy stuff with New York. Like, we thought New York was crowded before. We got Spidey, we got Doctor Strange, we have Moon Knight coming in, we've got all the Defenders coming, well, most of the Defenders coming back.
Is She-Hulk New York?
Yeah,
I believe She-Hulk is New York as well.
Marvel's New York?
Yeah.
Jersey.
I thought She-Hulk was West Coast.
No, She-Hulk because Marvel's Jersey, She-Hulk's gonna be in New York.
It's about to be real crowded in New York, but I would like to see him at some point with Blade and all the other guys. But I do want to see like some level of interaction with like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man, because I know he does have interaction with them at some level.
Well, I want to see what you guys and get the whole panel's thought on this, because with you bringing that up, Law, and this was bubbling in the heat. So we know that we got Daredevil. Daredevil's supposed to come back or Matt Murdock in the She-Hulk show. Mm-hmm. We know that Kingpin. Do you think that in this way on the Disney Plus app that Marvel is going to establish their street level heroes, which includes Moon Knight and everybody getting together? Do you think that that's going to happen? Who wants to start off with that one? And eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
I don't see why they wouldn't. Like, it doesn't make sense for them to not like have that opportunity. And I think, keeping Daredevil as a show makes perfect sense. Keeping a lot of like the street level stuff to a degree as shows gives us like the time and the filler or the the uh the stuff to keep us updated until they get to the next movie and the next big arc with all the heroes, because we know like Daredevil and all someone like Luke
Cage,
Cage and
Frank
like
Castle.
Frank Castle, like all these guys to some degree are street level, but they play a major part in a lot of the bigger stories. It just depends on where they are going with those stories,
Right.
But I wouldn't doubt that they're gonna like start leaning into that more, and especially now that they're doing mature content for the shows. Yeah, without question.
Mizzy, what are your thoughts on that?
So it's a weird one because the overall MCU is leading to Secret Wars. That's where they're going. It's almost it's obvious. It's Secret Wars, but with the caveat of Young Avengers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you have that, you have the multiverse where these particular characters run is that they're not with the probably with the exception of with the exception of the Spider-Mans and the Doctor Strange. These characters are not really universal saving heroes, right? They're like you said, street level urban characters. So Luke Cage is not going to do anything to Thanos or Kang, right? Who really is going to become the big baddie, right? He's not going to do anything to that. Daredevil's not going to. Daredevil might be part of it, but again, he can't do so much. So they're definitely at this level playing field that those other characters won't be able to touch. Moon Knight, however, because of Khonshu, may do it because he falls under that realm of supernatural.
Yeah.
And I think what they're going to do with someone like Moon Knight, and the reason why you get someone like Oscar Isaac, because you gotta look at it from that perspective. Just think about the amount of money this actor demands, right? He's A-lister, right? We're talking about Poe Cameron, right? Here in this way. So he's demanding money. And TV money is not the same as movie money. As weird as that sounds when you really think about it, because it's more time spent on TV than you do on a movie. But if he's demanding movie money, then he's going to be elevated to that next level. Now, he may not get his own movie per se, because I don't think Moon Knight is a TV type of show. But I don't see it at this point. I don't see it becoming a movie. Like, even if you kind of tell the story of Jake Lockley, that's going to take some time because you want to know how it developed and all that stuff. And it makes sense to do it for a second season. So what I see happening is Moon Knight being part of the overarching story, right? But I don't see him owning a movie. He'll probably just stick to the TV series. And as far as the rest of the guys go, they'll be around, but they'll just be around.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Val?
I mean, I agree. I don't think that we're gonna see a movie in that sense. I think he's intended to be a supporting cast in Blade with I'm gonna say Dark Knight, and I know that's wrong.
Black Knight.
Black Knight. Thank you. Probably even with Echo, because I believe he has association with Echo as well. There are a lot of his character. There's so much room for growth, and he can fit into several different parts of things that we're seeing in motion. So what they do with it, I'm excited to see, especially since they now created it and made it their kind of own little thing that we're not used to seeing the exact same in the comic book. So we'll see. I mean, I'm here for it. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Marvel is, my heart. So I'll take all my money.
Tony.
No, I mean, I think what everyone's saying is pretty much valid. I do think he may show up. I know what Law was saying in regards to like New York at this point is being impacted. I hope Moon Knight moves over to the UK. If we're gonna stick to that whole Egyptian thing, either you're gonna stay in Egypt or you're gonna go to the UK and kind of deal with that. And he's gonna live his life in the UK, which then brings him in contact with Black Knight, and then we have a vampire or demon thing, and which is why we get the amazing Mahershala Ali as Blade showing up. Because I don't know why we would have that cameo of Blade at the end of Eternals if he's not going to show up in the UK. I don't need I don't need the vampire movie to be in New York or pretty much in the United States. The
Yeah.
U.S. is gets so
It
much
would make
shit.
more sense for
Yeah.
it to
You
be
know,
in UK, especially
yeah,
with
it's
where
it's
the origin of
historical.
vampire. Yeah.
100%.
I'm gonna tell you.
100%.
Same.
I'm
So
gonna
I
tell
think,
you.
yeah.
Go ahead, Tom. Go.
No, I think that's the route we go. I just don't know if like I think that's a good point, but we can't unless it's going to be Jake Lockley is the Moon Knight and we're dealing with that Jake Lockley conflict within Blade. But I think that would be a disservice to Blade and the hype behind it, and them telling us we got Mahershala Ali as that character all those years ago. Like I want it to be like a Blade movie, and then we've got Jon Snow and Poe Dameron as support. Like that's what I want, and we deal with this Jake Lockley thing maybe in the second season or a new show because
Yeah.
it's they have to do a new show.
Right.
Um,
I think at some point, hopefully, if we see him in Blade, he will probably already have accepted the fact that Khonshu never left, and it's part of his identity. Period.
Yeah.
Whether he's Mark, Steven, or Jake, um, he's just there has to be something that they show us where he accepts this is it kind of thing, with that moment that he's the superhero as opposed to I'm doing this by obligation kind of thing.
Right.
So what's funny is about this phase, and this is what I'm just was listening to everyone
Oh,
right now. What I
please,
feel,
please say what I was
what-
thinking.
what's coming through, and this is what I'm thinking. And this is just me trying to. I'm doing my Pepe Sylvia board right now. So I
Please
think
do.
Kevin Feige has such a big plan where they were talking about. First of all, they were going to introduce the cosmic threats, which we're seeing already. We're getting the multiverse threats. We're going to get Secret Wars. This is definitely something brewing in the background. But now with the fact of introducing characters like Moon Knight, keeping them in, like how you said, so keeping them in Britain and everything UK, we know that Black Knight is out there. We know that Blade met him, so we can probably see that that's going to be this team, the what's it called again? I'm
Midnight
Midnight
Suns.
Suns.
Night Suns over there. But then in New York, we're probably going to get the Defenders because we know that Wilson Fisk is on the field. We also know that there's an international threat on the field still with what's it, the Power Broker. The Power Broker has been introduced last year. The fact of what's her face, the equivalent of who Julia Dreyfus is playing. She's been put on the field.
Valesker.
Yeah,
For
Valeria.
sure.
so not only do we a lot of people are assuming that we're just getting one big threat in Marvel, which we are, which the big boys are going to go play there, the galactic threat, but all of our mid-levels and street-level heroes are getting their own threats that we're probably going to see a lot of stuff start to blow in, and we still haven't even got mutants yet, with the exception of what we're going to talk about. But go ahead, Lal. I know your head is itching right there.
Yeah. So like fucking valid points and very good fucking red string. High five. You get like 5 more feet of red string, sir. But yeah, to that point, like if we're thinking about like Marvel's plan for the next few years, logistically, like look at all of the shows that we've had. Only with the exception of like Loki, I want to say, was there ever a show without like a team up or a movie without like some level of like a crossover. And I know Marvel has always done crossovers, but we've gotten to the point now where even a solo movie isn't going to be a solo movie. Like we had Spider-Man. That wasn't a solo movie. We had Shang-Chi, which kind of was. It needed to be its own thing, but we also got reference to a lot of other things like Wong. So, like we're getting to the point now where nothing is going to be just one and done with one person. It's going to be everybody on their squads, on their teams, and it's going to be those kind of threats that require teams. I think that's where they're going, like moving forward for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the other thing is like there's so many shows coming up that we're forgetting about, right? So
Armor Wars,
Armor Wall, Secret
Secret
Avengers.
Invasion.
Yep.
That's the big
Scroll-
one.
Secret
Yeah.
Invasion. I'm a
Once we
little,
get Scrolls, it's gonna be over.
but I'm very skeptical on that one in particular, only because I have this, and we'll talk about Doctor Strange. And one of the things I didn't like about Doctor Strange, but and by the way, I like the movie, but there is something I didn't
Okay.
like.
Oh, same.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But when it comes to Secret Wars, one of the things I don't want to see is I don't want to see C-list characters be Skrulls. You gotta hit me hard.
I think they will. Um they've already given. I mean, they showed us Nick Fury as a Skrull in Spider-Man: Far From Home. I mean, I don't think they're going to shy away from categorizing certain people that will end up revealing to be a Skrull at some point.
Do you think
But
they'd be
Talos,
bold
but
enough to give us all of the X-Men as Skrull, and that's why we haven't had X-Men?
I don't think they're gonna do that.
No, they're not gonna. That
They better
that-
not.
That'd
we
be
need-
that'd
we
be too
need-
much, but
No,
it could be wild
but-
enough to do.
I don't know.
I
but
think
I don't
the
think
X-Men-
Don't mess up my X-Men. Don't
I
mess
don't
up my
know.
mutants.
We need the big one to be a Skrull. I think Samuel Jackson being a Skrull, Maria Hill. That's just because Talos and
And they're
that
working for Sam.
that subsect of Skrulls.
they were spying. They were
Yeah.
spying for them.
If you
right?
think
Yeah.
there's a character that we've already seen that could possibly be a Skrull, who would you say it is?
It's gonna be a big one.
Wait,
Yeah.
correct me if I'm wrong. Do Skrulls possess the same powers once they shapeshift, or
They
no?
could do a lot.
Yeah, I believe they do
They could
because
do a
I
lot.
remember
Okay.
Jessica Drew in the comic books. So she was one of the big ones, Spider-Woman, and I believe she also had the power as when she was revealed to be a Skrull.
So if that's the case, who would we want to be?
Iron Fist.
Wow, yeah, I mean,
wow. It's like, hey, you were so trash. Let's make you a Skrull.
would it be mad at it?
I wouldn't either.
Yeah, but I do think it needs to be someone, because I think we even talked about this like a number of shows ago. Like, it needs to be someone that's been established in Phase 4. Like, even like if it was like Shang-Chi's sister or something like that.
I would have
Right?
thought
Because like she's
what's,
building up a
Aquafina's
whole thing.
character?
I think it should be someone that
Okay.
somewhere in the film series, you saw them kind of disappear and come back. Right?
Oh, it would be nuts if they do that, and it's all of a sudden that's a way to write in Phil Coulson again.
Yeah, something like that, right? Like
Maybe.
Phil Coulson was the
That would
one.
be a very wild, like, just deep dive, go back. Whoop, we're gonna play.
Well,
Here-
how
here-
did-
here's
how
a
did
crazy one.
Phil
I'll give you a
Coulson-
crazy one. I'll give you a
I-
crazy one. I have to throw it out, and then you say your question. Why not be Wong?
That's who I was gonna say.
I'm gonna tell you why.
That's who I
Wong,
was gonna say.
Wong, and the minute you said Coulson, that's why I thought of Wong. Wong has become the new Coulson. If
Yes,
you
he
ever
has.
noticed.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair.
And
Okay.
he really is, and he's like, he took over as a social supreme.
But
we
also,
don't
like,
have to-
why is
that's
he
not a
fighting
spoiler.
Abomination? Because that always threw. Like, why is he
That's- I was
fighting?
gonna
He's
bring that up.
Why is he everywhere right now?
Right.
Like
I
the boy's
love
getting
Wong.
paid. Benedict Wong is
I-
getting paid.
I love
Has
Wong,
anyone
but
heard
I
his actual
totally
speaking voice and
Yeah, he's
realized,
British.
oh shit, he's British?
He's
That
British.
happened to me like the other day, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I got a chance to meet him in Comic Con a few years ago, and that's when I first. He was like, "Hello," and I'm like, "What the hell?" Is this guy?" And then it dawned on me, it's like, "Oh yeah, his name is Benedict."
yeah.
No,
But you stole my answer to my own question. I was definitely gonna say Wong, being a possible Skrull, especially with his Abomination feature in Shang-Chi, especially with the
everywhere.
fact that now in Doctor Strange, he doesn't live up to the Sorcerer Supreme role. I mean, I don't think he's fully there, and it could be because he's not really Wong.
Yeah, like he's got the knowledge and the respect of it, but in regards to power scale, like Wong gets washed.
Right.
Yeah.
He
And
always needs help for some reason.
Which is wild because he's technically supposed to be like everyone else's teacher. So
Yeah.
like there was
Right.
there was the
I would
very
not be
old one, the
surprised
ancient
if it's
war-
revealed that he's been a Skrull the entire time.
So with that,
That would be wild.
so
I'll-
with,
I'll
Oh,
put
we're
some
not,
money.
we're
I'll
not-
put
I
some-
don't think we're gonna go because remember we also just before we go to Doctor Strange, if there's
Are we
any
getting
thoughts,
tinfoil hat?
Oh, sorry.
we can tinfoil hat, or if we want to talk about the kaiju fight. I mean, if we don't have to, we can skip it.
Oh,
I mean, what do you
I
guys?
know
I
you
was
wanted to
here
bring-
for it.
I don't think it's a kaiju fight. I thought that it was relevant enough to fit what was going on. Did we need it? Not
I
necessarily.
didn't need her to grow.
I saw that in
like
Power
Godzilla.
Rangers years ago. I saw that fight.
Oh my
I
It,
god.
it did give me Power Rangers vibes.
That was homage.
Rita Sapova, like
That was
especially
homage.
high.
because I
That was
thought
homage to Oscar
I-
Isaac's portrayal of
I,
Eisen Ooze.
I thought Ahmet, like when she showed up, I was like, I watched. I thought the actress who played her and how she portrayed herself, I was like, oh, I'm here for this. Like the way she's going through it, and then she just grows in, like she sucks up all the souls and then just scales up. It's as if you like click on an image and you go up diagonally to scale it up,
Mhm.
That's what it felt like to me. It's like I didn't need that. Like
I
that
also
was
want
my
her
thing.
to feel more like menacing, threatening. Like I get where her and Conchu are like opposing sides of the same argument, but it was almost like, was she really that bad at the end? Like she didn't feel as like, oh my god, scary as like, yes, I'm taking all these souls, whatever the case is, but for whatever reason, just didn't feel as threatening as she was made out to be.
I think the problem was more so Harrow, who was made her more threatening. I think her logic, like most bad people like Thanos, they have some logic behind their thinking.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the conflict happens with certain characters. And I don't think she was intended to be a big bad in that sense, but more so where your logic is flawed and does not work with human.
I mean, also the fact that she was able to share her powers with all of the disciples, which is like the real scariness of it. It's not like she had the one avatar and he's like we saw him do in the beginning of the show. It was literally just him judging people. And it was like, all right, you got this one-off guy that people are letting him judge them and he's killing them. Now at this point, every servant of Amit now had the power to just grab you by the wrists and kill you. And that's where the real issue was, is that you're sharing your power and anybody who sees fit can just go off and start killing folks. I hope everyone got their souls back, but probably doubt it.
Izzy, jump in.
Yeah, so that was one of the problems I had with the episode. The problems I had with the episodes was that let's wrap this up in the bow in a 45-minute spin, especially since it's as crazy as it may sound, it's the shortest episode of the series.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is.
It felt like longer.
No, it was the shortest episode. And you could have, like I said, what I would have done, again, I'm no director here, but I've done comics, so I've directed somehow. You take episode 3, chop that information in half, right? We don't need it was fun, don't get me wrong, and I don't mind watching it again, but we don't need a lot of that, right? We don't need a lot of that exposition. We didn't need the courtroom scene and things like that. They could have just cut some of that stuff off and then let episode 6 breathe. I would have had Ahmed showed up in episode 5 so that she could feel more formidable. She didn't feel formidable. She felt like your typical third act movie that, oh, now I'm this huge threat that's been hiding in the background, which she hasn't. And I felt more sorrow for Harold, because Harold's like, I shouldn't deserve this. He's like, well, you should deserve this. And he's like, but I don't. And he's battling it, right? He was a great character. I love this character.
Absolutely.
But in the comic book, Ahmed was the psychiatrist that was talking to Mark in the the psychiatric scene where he was doing his Ned Flanders thing, as he said. That was Ahmed. So she was a thing in the comic books. And she could have been a bigger threat to the whole thing. She was just there. It's like, I'm killing the people before they get a chance to kill anybody. That's what I'm doing. And like, okay, that's not too bad.
The whole pantheon of avatars were like, we were so wrong, Harold.
They were idiots. How could it be so stupid?
That was dumb.
We all agree
How
that
did this
that's
happen? Who released Amit? What?
Oh my god,
Bro, they told you.
And it
They
was the
told you
first-
like 3 episodes ago.
And it was the first time that I didn't like the Harold character, because he did all that stuff and then he's like walking away like an evil genius type of thing, right? It was so stupid.
Like,
Well,
I
you
one
ain't-
up
you
the
ain't know.
gods.
It's like,
I
got
think we
the
were all
god.
in agreement. We were all in agreement that courtroom scene was probably the worst scene written, and it felt off. It felt really off, that courtroom scene.
It was like we need to take away the suit, and we got to do this somehow. And that's what they.
And the other thing, the other flaw I had of the show is I didn't get as much Moonknight as I really wanted. I wanted some more Moonknight. Now, what I got, I liked and I loved, but I didn't. I hardly got Moonknight in the show. That trial was bad.
Hey, Bong.
They did not have Matt Murdock in that trial. He would have definitely made it better.
It's crazy because Khonshu, if you see that, like Layla's transition with Tiwat, and when she's speaking through her, seamless, full control. Why does Steven, excuse me, Mark and Kanchu lack that connection that he sounded like a kid with a disability? I mean, it was hey, it just came off very unnatural. It didn't fit, and it was like they were searching for a reason to make something work later, and
Yeah,
it didn't work.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the things that threw off the show was just that one scene. But other than that, again, final thoughts on Moon Knight. My final thoughts, I think it was again, it still is a well written Marvel show. There are just some hiccups that were along the line. I hope we get a season 2. I mean, I'm still gonna stand my hell. I think that some of this would have worked as a movie. They should have done Eternals as a show. But other than that, I mean, I hope we do get a second season because I want to explore more with the character. And I'm interested to see where they do go, if we're going to see him again pop up somewhere, because it would be nice to see Jake just going all around and all that and speculating on some stuff. I mean, does anyone else want to throw in their final thoughts in there? Go ahead. Just now's the time.
I got just one. I enjoyed the series for what it was, but I think we all said what it was. The one thing I just wanted to give a shout out to was that I really enjoyed the little nugget of Tawa talking through the dead bodies. I thought,
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I loved it.
Hilarious.
I thought the way they did it and like the way the actor was portraying the body and all that, I thought it was such a nice little nugget of how she was communicating, because she ferries, she's essentially the Sharon of this pantheon, and ferries the souls. So yeah.
I mean,
No,
that's
seriously.
valid, though. That's valid.
that's so true.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know,
we all felt that way.
I specifically love all the scenes that were in the hospital. I did love the teasers and the moments where we got to see Jake, even though we didn't like that moment when he was in the office with Harold and he has that piece of glass and he's about to stab him. That was Jake. That wasn't Mark. That
It was
wasn't
when he
like,
was bloodied up, right? When he
yeah,
had
his nose
Yeah.
was bloody up, and he's like, he was kind of stuttering. It was clear it wasn't the two guys. It wasn't Steve. It wasn't Mark. It was Jake. That's one of those moments. I love that. I love Isaac's work was amazing. I love the QR codes. I don't know if you guys knew about the QR codes in
Yeah.
every episode.
That was awesome.
That was cool. I never scanned them because I got Marvel Unlimited, so I really don't need to scan them. They probably have
Yeah.
the books already, right? I like that. I wasn't a big fan of Layla's choice to take Tawit. I get what they're doing, but I thought it was interesting how she kept saying no to Contra. No, I'll never be your avatar. I see the world going down to flames, and I'm not gonna let you take my body. And then Tawit comes up. Would you like it? She's like, yeah, sure, why not? You know what I mean? There was a little
I
bit
don't
of
think
that.
it wasn't
Tara
that
I
bad.
had
know
a
it wasn't
better
like
pitch.
that, but
She had a
That's
better
a better
pitch.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But at the same time, it was like you
She
did
had-
all
brought
this.
cookies. Like, come on.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You did
She
all
was
this
much
to say no to
nicer.
Kanju, and Tom was like,
No, I think it was
Nah.
more about. First of all, she already established a distrust with Khonshu, especially
Mhm.
because of Mark and everything that he was going through with him. Tawit was more. What's her name? What's the hippo god's name?
Yeah, you got Tom it.
Lady
Sorry,
Hippo.
thank you.
Lady Hippo.
She
Tom it.
she had a more compelling approach where she was actually trying to help alongside with
Yeah,
her.
but she's
here to help.
Granny
I
Goodness
can
to
grant
me.
you some power. It wasn't. It was. Well, she's still an Egyptian god. I'm sure she. And
That's
it's
why I
not
don't trust
something
her.
there- I don't
I
think
mean-
that it was the same response that she had because it was more of a necessity at the moment, as all gods do. However, she also came in handy. It gave a good way into it. I think. I
She
think
had
she
the better
already.
pitch. She had the
Yeah,
better deal.
She had a better
She had,
pitch, but
she had the triple play, the 99.99 triple play. That's what
Wow.
she had.
it just for me it was like you spend all this time saying no to this guy, and this lady just comes in and she's like, you know what, you sound nice to me. Yeah, I'll trust you. I wouldn't have trusted her.
I think
I'm
also
sorry.
too, she got the trust from her because of the fact that also too Tara mentioned her father.
Yeah, there was that part.
That
So,
was-
but again, that's more cunningness in the play. So it's
That's
like,
what God do. But anyway,
gotta do what you got.
you gotta do what you gotta do, Tone. You know what you gotta do.
We're not taking a break. We're going right into it.
Yeah, we're going right into it. right?
Okay.
You gotta take a
Let's
pee break.
go.
You gotta
Let's
take a
This
pee
is
break.
a scroll.
Take a pee
I
break.
mean, If we want to take 5, we can take 5.
No. I'm good to go right into it.
I mean, I got the music for the 5 minutes.
No. I'm good. I'm good. As long as everyone's Gucci, we all good. We got everyone watching. All right, here we go. So finally, it has happened. The multiverse of madness has been upon us. Tonight, we are going to spoil the entire movie as we do. We do not hold anything back. Want to know how bad? Wanda threw fucking hands. She said, "No, let there be no more Illuminati." And that is exactly what she did. They all got washed. Black Bolt, washed. Mr. Fantastic, washed. Captain Carter, washed. All washed. I'm here
Miss
for
Marvel.
What? They all got washed. Fuck it. You know what? Professor X snapped. Like you know, Captain Marvel crushed. Like I'm here. I was so hyped for it. We got some really great powers from Dr. Strange, but Elizabeth Olsen carried this fucking movie, and she is the gift that keeps on giving as the MCU actress that we all love. And she was a fantastic villain. I'm here to talk about it. Surprisingly, Tony Stark did not show up. Otherwise, we would have gotten another Tony Stark has died. But let's do it. Aunt May's died. The Illuminati is dead.
Should the Illuminati be your new they dead?
I might do that.
So
Earth 6160 Illuminati has died.
838.
Oh, 838.
So what we're talking about, for those that are wondering, we're talking about Dr. Strange's mom. No, if anybody that's laughing with that, Multiverse of Madness. So yes, this movie
we are the 616.
We are the 616. So this movie was pretty fucking awesome. It was great to see this movie. It definitely delivered a lot. I was very happy as a fan of the comics with what you saw with arcs and all that. But we're gonna go tag in Val and get Val's thoughts. Ooh, Val.
She's been giddy.
Oh no. I don't want the spotlight. Thank you. Now, what am I saying again?
What your thoughts on the movie? There's too much hype. Too much.
That's right. I freaking loved it. Okay. So, all right. First things first, Wanda was amazing, and this gave an awesome view of what we know her to be in the comic books as a psycho who can snap and has no mental stability over her emotions. And I thought they depicted that the best way that we could in what MCU has built so far. Obviously, not exactly like what we know in the comics, but it was perfect for what it was. With that said, I also, gosh, so much happened. America Chavez, I would have liked a little bit more, but I like seeing another Young Avenger in play. I like also the fact that we were able to see the Living Tribunal. I was super hype about that. This guy, what's Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, I was excited about. Seeing this universe's Illuminati, I hope opens the door to our universe's Illuminati. Now that Strange is aware of these particular characters, finding their counterpart in 616 could be how we get the the mutant in MCU. I do take issue, although I did enjoy the dead scenes, the killing scenes that Sam Raimi does, and I'm not the biggest fan of his style. However, it worked for what it was. I did not like how quickly and easily she was able to take out one by one, and that they kind of just stood by and took turns as opposed to just going in. They really underestimated her, and I would have preferred to have seen a more ganged up fight, as opposed to you're done, then you.
It's the Illuminati. They are a bunch of individuals on a team.
Yes, I understand it, but these are the most powerful people, the most influential people in the Marvel universe, and the fact that
most of them are egomaniacs who don't work well on teams.
Well, I think that's what they.
Well, the egomaniac is gone. Iron Man.
Carter's the only. She's not much.
Yeah,
she's not an egomaniac.
Yeah. Right. Carter's probably the
Iron
only
Man
one.
is the only egomaniac character that on the Illuminati that I would think. Oh, other than Namor.
Well,
but he wasn't there.
Here's an interesting fact about the movie, which I just learned today, was that they did based off the rumors that the fans were saying that they were like, oh, they're gonna cast Tom Cruise. That almost did happen, and if the schedule was there. Marvel was trying to get him, but it was Mission Impossible 7 and 8. I think he was filming. And yeah, they based off of what the fans were saying, they think it was like one of the producers was like, yeah, we got that idea from reading what the fans speculated in terms of rumors. So that would have been interesting if they had done that. So we were this close to actually getting Superior Iron Man.
Did we need it? But did we need
it? Would have just been fun because it was this. It's just one of those things.
As happy as I was with the Bruce Campbell like cameo, I didn't need it. I could have used them as something. It's so weird.
Gets paid.
That's Raimi's friend. If you notice, Raimi does that. Bruce Campbell follows him wherever you go. Izzy, give me your thoughts.
Okay, so let's go right into it. Poor Professor X. He had to die a third time. That's the one thing I got to say.
I hope I never see Patrick Stewart in the role ever again.
He got killed by Jean Grey in X3. He got killed in Logan. And yet again, he gets killed again by Scarlet Witch. Poor Professor X. And he just wants to
comic accurate one.
Yeah, and that chair.
No, someone theorized that it's actually the X-Men from
it's animated. It's animated. It's animated Professor X. Because if one of the things, even though he had the hover chair, the yellow hover chair from Jim Lee's run, but if you look at his suit, his suit is actually based off of the cartoon, which was cool because the X-Men movies, he always had a blue gold tie. If you remember the nice, beautiful gold tie that he had. So that was the cool thing about that. I'm with you. I agree that I think the fan service was there, but at the same time, they all got hurt pretty fast. Black Bolt is so much more than what they did to him, and I feel bad for this actor because again, we don't know the actor's name, but it's the same Black Bolt from the Inhumans TV show.
Yes,
they were like,
I was happy about.
We're bringing him back because that's wrong. He stood quiet all this time while they messed up his character, and they brought him back with tuning fork and all, which I was shocked by that. No one talked about that coming. That was one of the shocks. The one thing I will say that I didn't like too was it didn't feel like a multiverse of madness. It felt like a Scarlet Witch of madness more because he really just went to two universes.
Yeah,
that's not madness. Like that one scene, which was really cool, would be really great to see in 3D or IMAX when they just travel universes. That was really the only time he really went to different universes, and he ends up in this universe, which happens to be climate control. Happens to be a good thing, I guess. I don't know. Everything was so pretty there. I don't get it.
Listen,
why does all the other words look
red means go?
Yeah, give me some pizza balls. I want to see what happens, right? So I thought that was interesting. I liked Mordo's character. I always liked Mordo. He's always a cool character, the actor. So all that was cool until Scarlet Witch. Well, I admit she was awesome. Don't get me wrong. She pulled that Firestarter vibes, Firestarter Carrie vibes all the way. So it was, and I love Sam Raimi because Sam Raimi loves to do the goofy with the horror, and he does it really well. So there was a lot of nods to what he did there. And let's see here. And I gotta say, I love Zombie Strange. Even though he looked kind of funny in some moments, like I couldn't take it serious when he was talking to America sometimes. I was like,
it was such a bait and switch too, because we thought Zombie Strange was gonna be a bad guy, and it ended up being just ended up
Dream Walking Steven.
Yeah.
That was it, which is great because I love the foreshadowing that they did, that he buried him. Like, no one, you didn't even think about it, is that he buried him to bring him back. So it's like, that was cool. And yes, Wong is a Skrull.
I'm going with that. I'm banking on it. I swear.
That's gonna be the spoiler. Every spoiler alert. Every spoiler alert you do now. It's like, spoiler alert. Wong is a Skrull, and just keep it rolling.
That's gonna be part of my spoiler alert alarm. Yes, I think that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, me and Tony did have a conversation earlier. I think it was yesterday where
when we were walking
about Black Bolt. You told me that the actor had created sign language for Black Bolt.
Yeah. I think. So his name was I just saw Anson Mount. So he's in Star Trek right now. He's playing Captain Pike, and they brought him back for to play Black Bolt. And I think while the show sucked, I think they really did enjoy him as the character. Otherwise, I don't think Kevin Feige would have brought him back for that, just to throw him away at this point, you know. But they did say that I think he was the one who created the sign language for Black Bolt, and I was conversing with Seabass just to kind of confirm, because I didn't read a lot of Inhumans, so I don't know if Black Bolt kind of just stands around. He's just this imposing figure who's a leader of the Inhumans and doesn't really communicate unless he's like
He communicates through Medusa.
through Medusa. Okay, so
she's
so
his
yeah.
voice.
So yeah, I think he created that sign language portion for him just to kind of give him a little bit more character and brought more to it. And I think they liked him as it. So I think if we do get him back and the MCU proper, they would do that and let him take on that mantle. So, but like in regards to thoughts of the movie, I have to agree. I enjoyed watching Wanda wash everybody. I think it's a play on a couple things, because I think when the other worlds in the comics get destroyed, they end up just getting like all the characters, all the heroes on those other worlds aren't at the same par as 616. Like from my understanding. So like even Secret Wars at the end, it's essentially I think it's the Ultimate Universe and the mainstream Marvel Universe that are going against each other, and all the other universes got washed. So
and then some of the characters come to that's how we get Miles.
So like so that could probably be kind of what this is. Like while the Illuminati are a major powerhouse, not this Illuminati. Like they're just not there, so they get washed by our 616 Wanda. Also, like when they beat Thanos, they had to get the book. Like they didn't fight Thanos. Like they had to get a book to beat Thanos without even the Infinity Stones. So I think like that's kind of why they wanted to showcase why they were so easily, taken out. Now it was great, like gruesome wise, and like Black Bolt's head collapsing in, and Mr. Fantastic getting stretched and spaghettified, and Captain Carter getting cut in half. Like it was all just fun, campy gore on a PG-13 movie. And it towed the line, and that was enjoyable. I think my biggest complaint here, and it had to do a little bit with Steven, is that we've had Steven for so long, and it's taken so long to understand why Steven is the way he is. Like we finally get the thing with his sister in 2022, and like why did it take so long for us to get this? I think this would have been much more important as his origin, and we knew it in the movie. And I think we're trying to get him to grow. And I think he does grow slightly when I started thinking about it, the whole having the knife in your hand, letting America like do it instead of him taking the powers from her. So he did grow. But finding out what makes Steven tick, I thought, why did his second movie have to be the reason why we've had him for so long?
I think the thing is with that, we feel like we've had him so much because he's been in other pieces.
Yeah, absolutely.
So and then those are not the times to focus on his character there. He's more of a supporting role in those situations. I think it came
but
if we just got one and two. I mean that's not
or
the goal
maturity,
in
I guess.
That's not the goal in Spider-Man. That's not the goal in Infinity War for his particular character. I think that if we only look at 1 and 2, it worked for where it was, but because we've seen so much of him in other works, we expect more. And if we take that away, it does what it's supposed to do.
Well, he's really this phase's Iron Man.
Yeah,
Tony Stark, right? He really is. He's
the old guy.
Well, he's the old guy. He's gonna be the leader at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll probably be the one that'll be sacrificed in the end of the whole thing, right? So he'll do the whole thing. And technically, they kind of foreshadowed it, right? With the whole Thanos, and he's like the greatest hero, and then he becomes the worst enemy. They're telling us right now, either he's going to be the biggest threat or he's going to be the biggest hero. They've been telling us for a while now.
Well,
right? Over and over. What if? What we see here, what we see in other places. So when they finally get to their endgame moment, which they're gonna get there, and it's gonna be Secret Wars, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Steven that's gonna be the one that's gonna do the saving.
Well,
right?
They with the little character they introduced at the end, who Charlize Theron is playing, there's a big puzzle on the board. Dr. Strange, which she becomes his wife, and also his successor. So that is interesting.
Well, also the aunt of Dormammu.
The niece of
Dormammu.
The niece. Sorry, I meant to say that niece.
She's Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension.
Yes,
and I believe Dr. Voodoo is his successor.
So Dr. Voodoo becomes one of his successors, but I believe in this current run of Marvel, I think
it's her.
Yeah, that Clea is now his successor.
Yeah.
Then she's
Oh.
Dr. Voodoo's successor then.
Yeah, most likely, because it's like she has, because with Marvel's way of that they're creating all the diversity. Clea is now the Sorcerer Supreme currently from the current run, I believe.
Mhm. Yeah, she
Oh.
is.
Got it.
They killed off Doctor
Are they
Strange
still
in the
doing
comics.
Strange Academy?
They paused it.
Okay.
So they
I heard
paused
good
it.
things. I haven't read it, but I
I
heard
started
actual
it
good
and
things
didn't
about it.
continue.
There's some Strange Academy, even though I didn't read it. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in there,
Yeah.
and it's a fun story from what I'm hearing. It's X-Men meets Doctor Strange. That's what it
Yes.
is. It
Yeah.
really
He
is.
has his own school and it's all supernatural
Mar-
kids.
Marvel's Hogwarts.
I love it.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's
Exactly.
yeah.
I started it. I didn't continue the run, so I don't know if it was still going, but it's
Well,
good.
I think it has like 2 more issues left or something like that.
Law, give us your thoughts on the movie. Come on, jump in there, brother.
While I did really, really enjoy this, there was parts of it that I was just like, why did they do that? So question for the panel, uh, just so I know I'm not going crazy. We've established way long ago that she's a Nexus being, right?
They haven't fleshed it out yet.
Yeah, they
Because
Who's the
We're
next
we're
being?
we're
that
we're assuming it.
Wanda,
we're assuming it.
We're assuming
so-
based off comic book lore and the fact that they brought in Nexus, but I don't think they ever said the term.
that
Yeah.
Wanda
Nexus
is a
being.
Nexus
Yeah,
being.
but they did
That's
establish
what-
that she
that's
is
what
an
conf-
alpha. They established that she is an alpha in this with the way how she took out everybody, though. But they have not established that she is a Nexus being yet. And
That's
even,
what confused me the most, because I was like, she should be the only Wanda in all the continuities. So like to have like as soon as they were like, oh, we're gonna go to her other like Wanda, I was like, is that supposed to be the thing?
So like the one thing I noticed that we haven't talked about Nexus beings, but we have talked about like the absolute points because we got that from What If. So we know
Yeah.
like in his universe, Christine dies, and maybe the reason why Wanda doesn't have kids in this universe is because in this universe, her absolute point is that she cannot have kids. Or she can't have her children. So maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know, but if you know,
From
Also
what I'm
too-
reading right
also
now,
too-
being a Nexus being doesn't mean you can't have variants.
because
Okay.
then that would have really deleted Wanda from the Ultimate Universe when they had her there.
And
Yeah.
Kang also being a Nexus being, although he has several variants.
Okay. Part of me thought that was the case, and that's what got me so confused. Like halfway through, I was like, why does she have other variants? Like she's not supposed to. But now that actually makes sense.
Well,
Okay.
and the next question you have to ask, because they never mentioned this, who's the father of those kids?
I am
Wonder
not bugging out, right?
Here's the thing:
Wonder
in the
Man.
comics,
I know it's Wonder Man. I know in the comic books it's Wonder Man, but it's never brought up. Vision is never mentioned,
In the alternate reality.
right? In this
However,
in this
I mean-
movie, he's not mentioned at all.
Yeah,
Well, that's the thing. Her, I'm sorry, Val.
she did mention it when she was saying that it didn't matter after killing him,
Yeah.
and then it was just turned back. So that's the mention there. She went through the loss of and trauma of losing
Mm-hmm.
Vision in WandaVision.
Right.
However, the loss of her children
children
is
in
now
this.
what she's suffering.
Mhm.
What we see with the other realities, her children we know are intended to exist.
Mhm.
How they come about in this particular MC and what they've done with it may include other factors, because I don't think she's going to give up on that. And I don't think that we're not intended to see them because they're going to be part of the Young Avengers. How they tie it in, I'm not entirely sure.
Well, now that America Chavez is on the board, her dimension hopping,
Yeah.
that becoming an ability, that's a way that you can kind of write in Billy and Tommy coming back. And the other thing too is like, yeah, when they showed Wanda in that other universe, they never showed pictures of the father, so we don't know in that particular
If
universe
it's Steve,
if it's like Steve Rogers, it could
Steve
be
Williams, Steve
Wonder
Williams.
Man, Steve Williams, Wonder Man. It's like we don't know what that, but we know that in this particular universe, she in the 616, she conjured the kids up along with that version of Vision, and that goes the same because I've been seeing a bunch of articles how people like, oh, they trash Wanda's character. Like, no, Wanda's character in the comics, she went from villain to hero. And then when she
Villain
lost her
again.
kids, she went right back to villain in Avengers Disassembled.
There's
when
a
she heard the
line
Jack of Hearts.
there's a line that I think Strange or somebody says trying to explain like that she's not a an agent of chaos, or like she doesn't control chaos controls her. So whenever her wills and emotions are out of line and things don't go her way, she immediately goes for the I'm gonna change reality to see fit to how I
Well,
want it.
well, that's to that point too, because they hinted at it in WandaVision when
Hmm.
Agatha was like, you got your abilities unnatural. Again, that's a hint to in the comics, where in the comics she got her abilities because she was a mutant. And again, they said that, and even Strange in the comics was like, yeah, Wanda didn't get her abilities like she learned like we did. She got them because she is a mutant and it takes over her. And that's what also leads into her madness. Which again, they captured this perfectly throughout her entire arc. And I think this was a great way. And honestly, I don't think we're going to see
The
the last of the
people,
character.
the people. Oh no, I don't think so. She's alive. The people I think that take issue with making Wanda this psycho version of herself are the people who aren't familiar with the character
Right.
themselves in the comic books. We've seen her really alter a full reality, kill off,
We
depower a
said it
whole
early
race.
on that she was supposed to be the
I
villain for
mean,
Yeah,
this.
but
uh,
also in WandaVision, like that argument for like we threw out her back only works if you don't see the cutscene where she's astral projecting with the Darkhold.
right.
Like
Mhm.
if you take remove that scene, right, it changes the entire landscape of it, and you can have the valid argument of WandaVision did this whole thing of her accepting her lot in life, and now why is she like this? But they were like, no, you're going to give you that last 5 seconds where she has the Darkhold. The movie establishes that the Darkhold essentially corrupts you,
Yep.
and bada bing, bada boom. Yes, she accepted her lot in life, but now she has this book, and then she's studying it. Here's her kids, and the whole thing now has gone from I need to get my kids. I don't care
Mm.
what I have to do, but I now need to get them, and the book has now is corrupting her. So
It also felt kind of
it's like
fast. Like I looked at the runtime; it's only like a 2 hour and change movie. Where I would have thought that it would have at least gone 2.5 or close to 3, with as many things as they were
Right.
what we were expecting them to do. So, but by them not doing it, I felt like they were there's probably a version of it where we did get to see all those other universes, all those other like cameos or whatever the case may be. Um, at the end of the day, did I like it? Yeah. Sam Raimi did a fantastic job. The horror moments, like the little bits of horror, I was like, "Holy shit, this man
Oh, when
knows
she
his
came
shit."
out of that box, when she
The
All of
and
it,
she
bomb.
did
out of the
like
It was like a
Mirrorverse,
bomb.
yeah,
Yeah,
all of it,
that was
all.
awesome.
I'm here for it.
It was good.
All the
Eyes in
visuals,
the puddle.
all of the universe hopping felt really dope to see and like see on the big screen. I think I just wanted a little bit more of a lot of the little things that we saw.
I think we might have a lot of deleted scenes because even like they said that there was just more massacring by Wanda, but I think we got a lot of stuff probably.
Not even so much massacring, but I think like for what we did with the Illuminati, it felt good to see the Illuminati, but yes, they got washed so fast. They didn't feel like a threat. They didn't feel like they were just
I,
there to
That
be
version,
there.
I take
the first one.
issue. I take complete issue with how Black Bolt got killed. This man has heard his voice before. He's used it, whatever, in any way, shape, or form. I don't think I should. I feel like he should be immune to his own power. I honestly just think that
It's
was not
probably
good for me. I was not. I'm like, what the?
okay,
I
but
was
like
so upset about
under
that.
that logic though, do you think Cyclops is immune to his own laser beams?
Mm.
Absolutely.
well, yes, because they have established that as brothers, him and Havoc,
Mhm.
Yeah, he
when
they
they
are
fight
powered.
each other, they
It
it
cancels
powers
each
the
other
hand.
out.
yeah, they cancel each other out. So he's definitely the only thing is that with Wanda in particular that I felt, and this is where my beef with the Illuminati issue is like they get so wiped out pretty quickly in this movie, makes you think that the 616 version of the Illuminati is not that it's no
Well,
big deal either.
they
It
might
I
be
makes you
more
I don't
feel
fun.
think
that way. I
I don't
think
think
they're
they're
a
going to
bigger
be.
deal.
I think they're going to be a much bigger deal. I think that this is going to lead to Strange creating the Illuminati.
Yeah,
Right.
Um, he will find these counterparts. We already have Namor. I'm sure he will be incorporated there. I'm sure he will probably search for Professor X's counterpart in his universe. Black Bolt's counterpart and Reed's counterpart.
Yeah.
I want to add
Well,
something.
and-
I want to add
and
something to that
Iron Man.
real quickly. When you saw how when Steven and Mr. Fantastic were talking, he goes, Mr. Fantastic from the Fantastic Four. Steven, Dr. Strange made a Fantastic Four comic, like something about them being in the 60s or something.
Didn't you
which
chart
seems
in the
to be
60s?
rumors that the rumors that are going about it was that they were like the Fantastic Four was going to be a team of the four of them. They go off into space, that they were from the 60s, but then all of a sudden end up in the present day, and as to explain how they got their powers or something like that. So I mean, that would be interesting if that is a true
They've
rumor.
done that
Try to
enough
stay
where they
away from
have
the
like
rumors.
they've done that enough like time, like you go out there, you lose time, come back, and then like
Well,
20
the-
years like pass or whatever the case may be.
I think
Right.
the best approach is probably Quantumanium might be the best place to do that.
Yeah.
Where
Or,
they
I mean-
go to the negative zone rather than that other
Right.
spot,
Which
right?
brings in Annihilus.
Which
Or
brings the Nihilus, who could be a big
Shield,
baddie.
what's his name? Nick Fury's up in space. He may come across them and bring them back. I mean, that's another way to
Yeah.
kind of find them if they're lost in space.
Yeah.
Unless they do the situation with Fury. What's the name of that series where he ends up becoming the new Watcher? Which damn, what's the name of that series?
I know
Something
what you're talking
Sin.
about when they
It's Sin.
killed-
Something
when
Sin.
they killed off the
Original
Watcher.
Sin.
Original Sin.
When they
So
killed off
that's-
the Watcher.
They killed off the Watcher, and Nick Fury gets the eyes of the Watcher. There was this whole big thing,
Oh,
and
I did hear about this.
Yeah.
he gets the eyes of the Watcher, and it just almost sounds the same because him being in space almost sounds like he's playing the role of the new Watcher.
Called the
Um,
Unseen.
Yeah,
He absorbed Watu's power.
yeah. So he becomes the Watcher, kind of
Okay.
almost like a curse in a way. So that they could be pulling off those strings again with the MCU. What they do well, and this is what Feige does well, is they take elements of our favorite stories
Mm.
and they marry them into something without giving us what they want, which strangely enough we accept. It's
When
one of
it's
those
done
weird
well.
things.
When it's
Right.
done well. If
But that's the point. We accept it. If
Fox-
DC was to do it, people would be like, yeah. But
But it's
No.
also it's
but
done-
they
like,
don't
to-
do it well.
Right. To Val's point, there's not done well. And two, remember where MCU started? MCU started where they didn't have all their like stuff in order. So he had to like take an element from this and combine it with a kind of new story
DC
to
has
give us
no
where we
excuse. They have rights
None
to their
at
own properties.
now they don't. Not the only property they don't have rights to is Spider-Man, and we could see what Sony's doing with them. With that,
No,
I don't
Hulk-
even
Hulk
know
as
what
well.
Yeah, Hulk.
Hulk is.
It's-
There's
Hulk-
a
it's Hulk for-
technicality.
It's Hulk for
Yeah.
individual movies, but
Right.
Yeah.
that's it. We can use. They can use Hulk. They can
They
just
can
throw
use
Hulk
Hulk.
in
The
whenever
whole
they want.
Universal thing is like,
Yeah.
They're not making a new
It's
Hulk.
not a
They don't
big
care.
deal like the Sony thing. But
Right.
anyway,
yeah.
I think we had a 2-hour discussion about. that
Listen,
shit
don't get
last-
me started.
So,
It's Marvel. It's good enough.
Yeah.
That's
Alright.
right. Go ahead, Law.
theories on like what happened. So one, obviously we're all on page, like Wanda didn't die. But if Wanda didn't die, what happened to her? Like where are we gonna find her again?
Seclusion in what she normally does. She hides out until she's needed again, and then someone has to. She tries to come help at some point, and they're like, "No, bitch, we don't trust you.
Yeah,
Out of here."
I feel like, yeah.
And I
There's
think
only-
that's
there's
'cause
two
it's
ways.
happened before.
I think there's two ways she'll return. She'll return in a Captain America way, where remember in was it Infinity War?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Infinity War.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Infinity
here
War,
to help.
Captain America like shows up from the darkness. It's
Mhm.
So she'll show up in that way, I think, in a major crossover event, or she'll show up in a Red Skull way, where she's I can see that.
I like what Elizabeth Olsen also said too. She says that she would like to come on and utter the words "No More Mutants." So maybe we may get her in some X-Men. I don't know
it's
because of her
too
ties to
soon to
Magneto.
do it though.
She better not do no more mutants. I need to see my mutants.
We need to get them
Can
first.
I get them first?
Yeah, we
Like,
have
come
them
on.
for a couple movies before. we
Well,
start
you want to know
checking
what? You want to know what you thought that just set my head. But first of all, I do want to give a shout out that we had a small cameo with Rintra, the green what was it, Minotaur. He was in there, and Doctor Strange, which
That
again
was cool.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a cool thing, nod to the fans. But it would be interesting if they did this. And Agatha pointed out too in WandaVision that, how did Wanda get her powers? What if, and this is just a big question out there, what if Wanda had already uttered that phrase years before getting with the Avengers, and then all of a sudden she is the reason that the mutants come back?
That's weak.
It's
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like
I
that.
don't like that.
Here's something that I thought of after watching the movie of
I'm getting thrown
how to
out.
introduce
You're,
mutants
you're
into
fine, Seabass. Listen, you're
Don't-
allowed a
I
bad
wasn't
theory.
throwing you out.
She actually
It's
should utter
okay.
the words, no more Eternals.
Oh my god.
That's so mean.
That was
I
weak,
would-
though. That was a weak movie.
It was
I'm sad.
okay.
The deviant subplot was weak. It was
Yeah,
so
It was
weak.
okay.
Such a waste.
I'm hoping they take it to a better place. I think there was too many characters for one movie.
That's why I say it
and
would have worked better as a show.
It struggled with finding a good base.
It-
But
I
it wasn't
think-
a bad movie.
I
We've
think
seen
it
worse.
was they didn't embrace the Kirby. You embrace the Kirby with Eternals.
Yeah.
That's what
I-
you got to do.
I think they I know this is off topic, but I think they really tried to find a way to make the deviants the villain when they should have just been used as the reason why they're there, and really focus in on why and like focus in more on why Icarus goes bad, like breaks bad.
Ugh.
I think, because they're making it more about like an internal family conflict where, because the one thing I did like about one of the things I liked about the Eternals is that you got their relationship all together. Like it felt real.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like even though we don't have all this time with them, but you get why they're the way they are with each other, why there are certain little pockets and all the other stuff, why Icarus loves Circe, but the fact that you gotta bring in the deviants and make them the big to-do, I think takes away from the movie when it should have been more focused on the team and the Celestials and like the whole Irisham thing.
And I think one of the
yeah.
problems that Marvel's having in particular is that taking who we think should be villains and kind of like humanizing them in a way. I don't
Sometimes villains
I
are
don't
villains.
trust the Skrulls. I don't care. Don't trust a Skrull, right?
Well,
But
that kind of
Kree,
stuff.
I think the Kree took over that though, because if you notice, the MCU's Kree is kind of feels like the Marvel
But
comics.
the Krees
Kree have
are
always
just
been
jerks.
very
Yeah.
They've always been
assholes.
jerks. They've been arrogant jerks. But the Skrulls, you never trust the Skrull. That's all I'm saying. Right? Call me racist against Skrulls. I'm sorry. I don't like green guys.
Well, maybe what's Nick Fury's Skrull's name?
Talos.
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 Maybe he's the only one you can trust, and you don't trust the rest of them. Because he could be
That's
the
why I said
exception.
there are
His
like maybe.
family, his
There are-
subsect, his section could be the exception to the entire Skrull universe.
Well, I hope. I honestly hope so because I don't trust Skrulls,
Right.
especially because Super Skrull is such a cool character. But yeah, and there's so much lore with the Skrulls in particular, how they are. But the same thing with the Deviants. The Deviants were turned out they weren't as evil that they was projected to be, and that's something that Marvel has a tendency of doing. Like, let's make the people believe that they're evil, and then we'll show them that they really aren't. And it's like it's starting to be a trope in a way that they're doing. They have a few tropes like that.
I don't get it.
I
Look
get
at the
it.
green
This
guy.
is a great thing.
No. I love me my Lucky Charm.
Oh,
Thank
So,
you, Paul.
I love the fact that he has to be like justify. Okay, it's just a joke, guys. Just a joke.
You love Paul. You love Paul.
Oh,
Paul
great.
is awesome.
No,
Yeah,
I
thank you.
meant alien green men. That's what I meant.
No, I hear you, though. Like Marvel is definitely trying to do the whole humanizing. You mean like humanizing the villain aspect of it and trying to make. I think it works for some, and then others ones I just want them to be bad.
bad.
Like
It worked for
bad-
Thanos.
It works with Thanos. It worked with the Mandarin. I thought that was a
Ultron?
really great. Ultron. There was a waste of James Spader, unfortunately.
Wasted.
And when we get
Killmonger,
Killmonger made sense, but when we get Doctor Doom, I want Doctor Doom to be like
Straight
I
up
don't-
jerk.
straight up jerk. I don't
But
need
he's-
a reason as to why. I just need him to
Zemo?
be the way he is.
don't make me like Zemo. Like Zemo, we like him
No,
way
wait a
too much
minute.
right
Wait
now.
a
Listen,
minute.
listen,
I don't know. I love my Zemo.
He was missing.
He has a place. He has a
We
place
love
now.
Zemo, but
Listen.
in the comics, he's a fucking.
Yeah, you
douchebag.
know.
But
In the
see, that-
comics, you're not gonna get that dance. Come on.
Yeah.
But they made 10 minutes long.
Peggy, Sharon Carter. Sharon Carter is a perfect example. They're taking Sharon Carter and they're kind of turning her into a villain, right? That's one of those characters that's like, but I like how she was. She was a good person. Maybe Sharon Carter, the broker, is actually a Skrull. I could see that.
That's true.
That's probably a Skrull.
That's a good Skrull because
Yeah.
again, she's not in the picture, right? She disappears. Anyone that disappears could come back being a Skrull.
Good period of time, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we still got that blip, and it's like we don't know how it's affected people or how.
That's
people are
also
replaced.
true.
Also
true.
I don't know. It's like this. It's like how you said. Like how they're not going to exactly be like their comic counterparts, but there's just so much that they're playing with, and they are pulling from the stories. But again, I with what they did with Doctor Strange, and again seeing how people are just trying to really shit on the movie when it's like, dude, right? It's a lot of people like the movie, but it's like it's like what they're setting up, and like to what Tone's pointed out, the Secret Wars. But go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
No, it's like so. It's definitely a setup movie, and I think my thing is why I really did enjoy the movie itself. I kept thinking this was a spectacle of Marvel. Like it had its moments to push some story forward, but at the end of the day, it felt more like a spectacle, and I enjoyed it. It was a popcorn eating flick, and I'll watch it again. But you know, when you're following up with Spider-Man, and I get that Spider-Man was closing up the chapter and all of that for Spider-Man. It was such a good movie and really tied in with the whole multiverse aspect. I think with this, I think it was really like we need to do a Doctor Strange movie and we need to bring in the multiverse. And obviously, this movie had to be rearranged based off COVID release schedules that were pushed back because that was definitely a thing. But at the end of the day, I just felt like it was a spectacle of a movie. We watched Thor. Example, I think Thor: Love and Thunder is going to be like a movie.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that isn't moving anything forward.
Of the like
or maybe a little bit.
establishing a movie that brings in a lot of context but doesn't feel like a filler movie was Captain America: The Winter Soldier. That brought in Hydra, and we were all like, "Holy shit!"
And the espionage.
It literally changed the entire scope of that phase. That whole phase was like turned on its head. Mm-hmm. This bringing in the multiverse, we were like, I feel like we were expecting so much more, especially coming off of What If and Loki. We were expecting so much more.
I think people wanted so much more than what we were supposed to get. I think that's one of the bigger problems with so many people speculating, rumors. People want this. Oh, I wanted to see this. I had friends say, "Oh, I wanted to see Wolverine." Why? Why would you want to see Wolverine?
That's ridiculous.
I don't want Wolverine. I don't want Wolverine.
But also calling it. But you also call it Multiverse of Madness. So
I think that's
point
the problem.
Is like you essentially get 616, 816, and then you get a montage of multiverses, and then you get when he goes see Sinister Strange, right? Like those are the things, and you think, well, you know, I don't need like a crazy abundant amount of fan service cameos. Like that wasn't going to make the movie for me. The ones we did got, I enjoyed. Like I love John Krasinski being Reed Richards. I think I want him to be Reed Richards. I know we've been fan casting him for a while, and I think they did it. And I think we get a little bit more.
They don't want him to be Mr. Fantastic because he's too likable, and Reed's supposed to be an unlikable idiot. But
he could do it.
Asshole.
He's the type of guy that can do it. He could pull it off.
Yeah.
And especially if they get Emily Blunt. If they get Emily Blunt, that's it. It's over.
That's it. That's all we want. We want the two of them together to be.
I just think
the
they're
first
too
family.
old at this point.
No, they're perfect.
No, they are at the ripe age. They are perfect.
They're perfect. They're not too old. We don't want a young Reed.
Also, yeah,
I don't want a really young Reed, but
I
don't.
One of you guys just said the children. He literally said, "Yeah, I have children too." Not just child.
We have Franklin,
children, and his sister,
Valeria.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
So that's cool.
Someone brought it up that if they would have came up, Wanda would have been washed.
You know, here's some fan casting for you. Why don't you get the kids from A Quiet Story to play the kids?
I'm actually kind of here for it.
The chemistry's already there.
I'm kind of here for it.
I think
Right? What the hell? Why not? All right.
I think what this movie suffered though is a lot of over fan hype because again, like they said, even the producers and the writers, they were like, yeah, they were going to cast
Possibly.
they almost did cast Tom Cruise because they read what the fans were
Yeah.
speculating. It was like, oh, the rumors that they're and they because of schedule conflicts. I think people wanted and were putting so much onto this movie that they wanted to see so many different cameos, so many different characters confirmed. But it's like at the end of the day, one, COVID release schedule with this, and two, this movie was what it was going to be. It was a setup for whatever bigger picture, and most likely the closing story for Doctor Strange would either be in Doctor Strange 3 or in a big movie that we see.
Do you think that'll be his done, his
Swan
final
song.
I mean,
farewell?
apparently,
Really?
I think
apparently
it will be
Benedict
his-
wants to play it though. He wants to be him for. He does want to be him for.
I don't think that's his
I,
farewell.
I,
I
I
think-
hope
think
he's
he'll
in
be
it
having
for a
Swan
while,
song.
man. Because
Yeah.
I don't think he should be out.
Well, no,
after
he's
this.
he's one of the few who's going to be here for a while, but I think he's taking a break from filming stuff for right now. But
That's fair.
there's a lot of people who want Hemsworth says he wants to continue playing Thor. A lot of people want to
If
continue playing
Tawiki's
the
behind
character.
it, he's with it.
Yeah,
He really likes his direction.
yeah, because after the first two Thor movies, Taiki
he
really
was
went
over
with
it.
Yeah.
He was over it after the first two. When he took over it, that would made him Hemsworth more committed.
Mhm.
Yeah. The other thing is that and again going back to what I've said is like it really didn't feel like the multiverse of madness. So they kind of like put themselves in that position that the fans wanted to see all these crazy cameos
Mhm.
because let's be honest, you could do them now. And the thing is what Doctor Strange was if you relate it to the comic books, Doctor Strange was an annual. That's how I look at it. It was an annual. You know how an annual works? An annual works is that it's not part of the overarching story. It is a good companion piece that's there that could fill in blanks for certain things, which I think this movie will do, fill in blanks, right? But at the end of the day, you probably won't need it at the end. But I think in all fairness, the where they missed the point and what I think where they failed on was the fact that if you call it the multiverse of madness, we want to see a crazy load of cameos that come out of nowhere and the fun ones. I wanted to see the fun ones. I wanted to see a Chris Evans Human Torch. I wanted to see a Nick Cage Ghost Rider. I wanted to see a Ben Affleck Daredevil. You know, that kind of stuff. Or what's her name? Jennifer, the other Jennifer.
Jennifer Garner,
Jennifer
Elektra.
Garner, Electra. That kind
That
of
would have been
stuff.
funny.
Or
That
just
kind of
having
stuff
having
to me.
Hogan having Happy
you
as
know what also-
Having the original Doctor Strange from the 72's TV show, or Nicholas Hammond from the Spider-Man show, or give me a Lou Ferrigno moment. Things like that, which will be like enough for you to say, yo, what you thought about that cameo? Because we are still talking about those cameos. We are
Right.
talking because those are the cameos we got. We knew Professor X was coming because they teased them in the trailer, right?
That's the problem. I think here is that you set us up with the trailers. Like we got the Professor X trailer from the first teaser, from the words, and then you get those other teasers that happened about 2 weeks before release when we got Captain Carter and when we got who we thought was Superior Iron Man and all this other stuff. And you've got the marketing and you've got the shield. And then so you give us these trailers and you give us these nuggets. So I'm automatically gonna think, what else? Like John,
Reed, they
Fantastic
gave us
Four-
Reed as a what else? They gave us Black Bolt as a what else? I mean,
but
I don't
but
think
but
they
Charles
needed to
shouldn't have
fill
been.
all of that.
No. What I'm trying to say, Val, is that they shouldn't have shown Charles.
They shouldn't have used his
shown
voice
Hope.
too.
They
His
shouldn't have
voice
used
was
his
like
voice.
giving away.
I think had you given us the trailer with just Doctor Strange, maybe a different variant because we're used to variants
Right.
at this point. The Gargantuos, who we all thought was Saw or Gamora, which would have been cool for us to speculate and figure out that's wrong. A little bit of tease of Wanda going Breaking Bad, and then you
Right.
watch this fucking movie. You don't say the Illuminati. You can show us
Right.
Baron Mordo because we all thought he was coming back from the first movie, even though he
Right.
has dreadlocks now. Like would have been like whatever. He's been on vacation. Whatever. You go to this different Earth. Baron Mordo's there. Then he's like, oh, now the Illuminati want to show. You see the Illuminati in the
For the-
fucking
yeah.
theater. Like you don't even,
Right.
like
Illuminati
saying,
should be a third
even-
act group.
yeah.
Like they
And
get
then
introduced
the
in the
lineup
second act,
shows
and then
up.
they're part of third act.
The lineup shows up. You're like, we need to show our final member. And then fucking Charles rolls up in that yellow with Danny Elfman's fucking score with the original 97 X-Men theme. People would have lost their minds. I went into this movie theater expecting Patrick Stewart. And that took it away from me.
It-
So if you left those 5 cameos, I
It's
would
the
have been
Spider-Man.
fine with
It's
it.
Spider-Man. Everyone got hyped when we saw Andrew, when we saw Toby. The entire theater were, oh my god, because we thought we were gonna get it. We hoped that we got it, and then we got it, and we fucking went nuts.
Yep.
This, like to Tone's point, like
They blew the load. I'm like, are you kidding? Like everyone's gonna see this
I don't know if they
movie.
blew it as much as they set it
Tone
up.
got a point.
He
Tone
does
got a
You
got
know
a
what I mean?
Like we were
I
all
I get it.
gonna
I
watch
think
this
that's something
movie.
that we didn't.
I think
I would have seen. I mean, I didn't. If they had hit it, we would have been more excited about it, seeing it. Obviously,
yeah.
Well, the Toby and the Andrew thing, right? That was one of the worst kept secrets, right? But it was still a speculation rather than
yeah
we know.
because Toby and Andrew never confirmed it.
And Andrew
And they
lied
never-
lied the
lied his
crap
ass
out of it.
off.
Poor Andrew, man.
Won an Oscar.
fucking
You know,
reason.
Andrew was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
They was like-
And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, guys.
But
I
they were
really
like,
don't
"Dude."
know. So they were playing the game of we don't, we're not in this movie. Toby, I love Toby because he's like, I disappeared. No one saw Toby. No one talked about that. But we kind of already knew they were gonna be in the movie. There was already the rumors of it. But the fact is, with this one, we knew already Professor X was in it, and they said Illuminati in the trailer, so we knew they were coming. The better thing is, I go back to wrestling. We know CM Punk is coming, but we're not telling you CM Punk is coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's how it becomes a bigger impact. The best one was Krasinski and was Black Bolt because we had no idea about those two.
Yeah. But
Right?
Black
going
Bolt,
to
I
your
had no
point-
idea. Black Bolt
Yeah.
was no idea, and I
Right.
had hoping that we were, when you say Illuminati, like there's a couple names that we're gonna get,
Right.
right? Like, so you can say Black Bolt, but like no one thought Black Bolt because of the TV show, but everyone was like,
Right.
we're getting Mr. Fucking Fantastic.
Yeah.
And if it's not
But,
John Krasinski, we're rioting. Like, because who else could you get?
Basically, yeah.
Superior
and
Iron
they
Man would've
didn't
been-
need to be killed.
Yeah.
They didn't need
Yeah.
to be killed. That's another thing I had a problem with.
Yeah.
They
They had
didn't.
fun with
They
it.
could have been put away to the side, like
Blame
sideline.
Sam Raimi for that one.
That's
No,
that's Sam
you
Raimi.
blame.
That's-
No, this is not Sam Raimi. This is a Kevin Feige problem.
That's a Sam Raimi. He's like,
That's
let's
a-
give me some bullshit Illuminati in another alternate universe.
That's
just
not
so I
he.
can
He
kill them
didn't
all.
write the movie. That's the writer.
Just
didn't
so I
write
can
it.
kill them all.
He
Remember,
didn't write it.
He
He
came in
would've killed off
afterwards.
who- he
Val,
would've
that's
killed-
not the case.
He would have killed whoever they gave because that's what he wanted to do, and he wanted to show Wanda in the whole Carrie thing and show that parallel. But
Also,
that was,
you know how much
that was
money
the
it would
writer.
be to keep all of them for like other movies?
They got money.
Come on.
They got
No,
Disney money.
that kind of, the Marvel movies bank. They
Yeah.
they bank. So
you think
trust me,
about
they
it-
got the money.
Also,
Yeah,
too, they got Charlize. They just casted Charlize Theron as Clea, which she's going to be coming back as Clea. They got Angelina Jolie casted in the MCU now. So I mean,
Selma Hayek, like they got all the fucking
yeah.
Oscar
so
actors.
now
Like,
they're all now.
They got
jumping
everybody
on.
but The Rock.
Yeah,
Selma
but
Hayek is
she's
dead.
probably going to jump in there. Yeah,
Well,
Salma Hayek
they
will
had
jump in.
her.
But
They're
they
gonna.
had her.
They
Right,
might
they had
get
her. Might bring
Henry Cavill. They might
Yeah.
get Superman. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's
Yo,
rumors
if
that
they
he's
get
going to come
Henry
as
Cavill,
Captain
I'm
Britain
here for it.
possibly. But no,
oh
I-
my God,
If we
Henry
would've
Cavill is
cast-
Doctor Doom.
No, he
No, I
Captain
don't
Britain,
see him as
man.
Dr.
Captain
Doom.
Britain. That's
No.
I would see him as
I want-
I could see him as
want-
Captain Britain.
I want him
though.
as a bad guy. I want Henry Cavill.
Who would
as a
you
bad
cast
guy.
him? Then who? What would you
Sentry.
cast him in?
Century.
I said Doctor.
Ooh.
Yeah, Sentry's probably the
I
best
like
choice.
Sentry.
I
I,
don't know if he
like
would
that.
want. I don't know if he would want to play Sentry because I'll still be.
It's too close to Superman, but
That's
it's
what-
such.
That's something
I
different.
said-
No, but
that's-
it's
it's
such
such-
a complex character because he has Void and Sentry. Oh my God! If he
Oh,
went
wait,
in
come on.
split Aries,
They
that
got
would
Batman.
be freaking list.
They got
That would be
Batman.
slick.
How's that? They got Batman.
Yeah. See, what
And
was
Batman's
it?
playing-
God Killer.
And he's playing a character nobody knows.
Oh,
Nobody knows
I am
him.
excited.
They also
for
got Russell. They got Russell Crowe to play Zeus.
Yeah, Russell. So they got money.
Yeah.
They got money. That's
They're
not an
casting
issue.
people-
Money's not an
Because
issue.
after that first phase,
Russell Crowe's coming in to get killed.
yeah, but after that first phase of Marvel, though, that first phase, those first phase 4 movies and everything, that first what they did with Infinity War, everybody wants to get Marvel Bank right now.
Everybody, yeah, because there's a royalty that comes along with it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And people are buying into this. The comic book world right now, we are in a huge turnover in this world in our time frame. It's not like the 90s where you were like, oh, you read comic books? Who does that? No,
Where it's like,
it's
oh,
like
you're in a comic book movie.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
know that.
am.
Oh my god!
right.
Now it's like, oh, I want to be in this comic. It's like it's kind of like how anime now is like the big thing too. It's like, yeah, back in the '90s, no one cared for it. Now it's like, yeah,
But I love it's like
to
you
the
want to
point-
be in a
wait,
you want to be in a movie?
yeah,
How about this obscure character no one's heard of?
let you run with it. But no, what's funny though, I want to point out something because like how Izzy
I
you
almost
said
said something and I wasn't gonna
God
say it.
damn it. No, I was gonna say how Izzy you pointed out that this could have been some fun cameos in this movie. DC has probably one of the better crossovers in Crisis in the Arrowsverse because there was a lot of fun cameos in that.
Yeah,
And
and
that-
and there were the cameos that worked, right? Because they
Yeah.
did go to multiple Earths. That's
they
a perfect way of putting it.
they got the old like Robin from the Adam West Batman and Robin. He was on there. They got
Kevin
the
Conroy.
Kevin Conroy.
as
They got the news
Kingdom
reporter
Come
from the
Batman.
Batman movie, Michael Keaton's Batman movie, to be in there.
Yeah,
They-
they got Lucifer Morningstar. They had like
They did- what they
really
did-
went out of their way.
What they did is what Doctor Strange probably should have done.
Yeah.
They did it
fair.
right.
Fair.
Because and again, don't kill off the Illuminati. You just showed to me that they're not that big of a deal. Now
That
the Illuminati, that's the part I didn't like because it felt like they weren't a big deal. It was like it was all about Doctor Strange. They made it look like Doctor Strange was their biggest thing, and everyone else was like, we're okay. Even Professor X, man. Professor X had that one scene in that movie where he goes in and he goes into the mind of Wanda, and she's like crushed in like this bubble, and that's it. Come on,
was
he
pissed.
fought with Jean Grey.
Like, that was
man.
so that was such a cool moment to show him as powerful as he was, to just be like, sit your ass down, child. And then and then they were like, no, we're gonna just make Wanda that much more powerful.
Yeah, I think they overbuild her in a way. Like she almost became too powerful.
I disagree. She is that powerful.
She is
Because
that
we
agree.
haven't
Absolutely.
seen
No,
her
don't get me wrong.
in the
It's
MCU.
already
She is
been established
absolutely
that she's that powerful.
But Charles is that powerful as well.
But that's
Yes,
the thing.
I
but
agree.
that's the
I
thing,
don't think that would not have been a way to kill off
well,
Charles.
but
And
that's the
I-
thing. We assume that version of Charles is as powerful as the 616 version.
That's what I was saying. Yeah,
because,
I think
because even like in the Ultimate Universe, that Charles gets washed.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's ultimatum all over again, and people don't like ultimatum.
Yeah, but it's at the end of the day, whenever we saw like a what if and talking about the alternate universe, and I'm gonna give the mic to you, Tone, on this one. We always saw that it was always established that the 616 versions were always the most powerful versions of the alternate versions of themselves. But so I'm gonna please jump in.
no, I know that's essentially what I think. That's what I think I'm doing because
Yeah.
I'm starting to read Secret Wars now, so I can get more familiar with it than just kind of reading Wikipedia and all the other fun stuff. But essentially, it ends up being our main universe and the ultimate. Everyone else is just there because we're using the theory of the multiverse to kind of build our stories. But at the end of the day, 99% of them, 95% of them are just not as good as our universe. So, maybe using Professor X, maybe Professor X wasn't the right person to bring in then. Like maybe having the rest of them get washed made sense. Maybe calling them the Illuminati, but
I think that was more
it's
fan
variants.
service.
I
People
think it's
wanted
more
to see it.
Yeah,
People wanted to see it. They gave them that, and now people are mad they didn't get enough.
like if people would be mad if they ever bring Death Head 2 because Death Head 2 washed Mr. Fantastic in one of their comics.
I think
Like he washed him lovely when he was hunting people.
I don't think it's that people were mad that we didn't get enough of them. I think we got mad because they got killed off.
Well, I was not happy about them getting killed off. However, it doesn't bother me or doesn't faze me that too much because they're not 616 versions.
And also, too, if people are mad that they got killed off, don't read the comics then because you're going to be mad at a lot of comic stories that are out there where they get washed like
Oh,
crazy.
people die every time. And comic books, people
Oh,
die
like-
and come back so many times. It's not
Yeah.
even funny.
Except for Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben will stay dead.
Uncle Ben stays
Yep.
dead unless you're in the MCU verse, then it's Aunt May dying.
God damn.
Oh man, but this has been a fun show. I mean, what is everybody's final thoughts? I mean, do we want to continue? Where do you think we're gonna go now with everything? Because there's only Ant-Man, Quantumania, we got Miss Marvel, we got
Black Panther.
Thor, Black Panther, we got the Marvels. I mean, there's just so much coming out now. It's just where do we go with this? And then what's being set up
it feels like, like we're getting some movies that are like ensemble pieces. We're getting some movies that are like standalone. We get some movies like what this was, where it's just kind of moving things along. I think Thor is
Yes,
gonna
Bond.
be. I think Thor is gonna be a stand. I think Thor's gonna be kind of standalone in the galaxy and dealing with gore. And I also think Wakanda Forever is also, I think, unfortunately, needs to be a standalone because we now need to establish the mantle of Black Panther. So,
Yeah.
like, it's hard to move forward in Wakanda because of what they now need to do.
Also,
Right.
And we're
I
bringing
think they
Namor,
should have recasted the role. Honestly, I would have appreciated that they didn't tie one actor to this character. I appreciate the
soon?
I think,
sentiment.
I
I
think they
appreciate the
are.
sentiment, but no. They said that they weren't intending to. They don't want to. I don't like one actor being this character. I want to be able to have this character be whoever can play this character. I love Chad. Absolutely. It's sad what happened. However, the character doesn't make the actor. The actor,
I think
Well,
the actor is
I
entitled
think
to, you know.
when he passed, I think they had to tiptoe around it, right? So like you can't, like, out of respect for the character, you're not automatically going to say because people asking that question immediately after he passed.
Recast.
And so I don't think they're going to say, though, we're recasting. We're going to deal with
Recast.
it when we deal with it.
I would
think
have taken that
now,
as an answer. Recast.
I think now,
I think they should have
they are.
waited.
I think they should have waited, and now
So
they're going. I
what
think
they
they
did.
are going to
So
recast. now.
Shuri-
wait at least
uh,
one movie, and then if
but
you
also-
want to recast. But I would rather just because many people have held that title.
But also too, I want to add in, like, Shuri, like they've said that they've had problems with the actress on set with her beliefs with COVID and all that. That's what led us to some issues because they were like she was going to take over the mantle, but then they were right now. Then they're talking about that they want to do what was it M'Baku to take over the mantle because they love the actor who played M'Baku. But this movie is going to be probably set up for whoever's going to be taking over the mantle for Black Panther and introducing the Atlanteans to the world. That's the speculation. Izzy, give me your thoughts and everything.
So, since you're on the topic of Wakanda Forever, so obviously it is, I'm more than certain it's going to be with the Atlanteans, but I also think Latveria is going to be involved in some weird way.
That would be
So I do think that's the case. I think they're going to throw in Latveria. It's because, especially since we're getting a lot of connections to different parts, right? We're getting Madripoor all over the place. And Latveria is it's right around the corner,
What's
right?
Latveria?
That's
Dr. Doom's home.
Oh, Latveria. Okay. Oh, sorry.
Latveria, right there. So they're definitely going to get there. I think they're going to touch on that subject. I think it's going to be a political game, a political war movie more than anything else. I'm with you. It's a little hard because I think they had a lot of plans for Black Panther. And I also believe that Kevin Feige was one of the very few people that knew in advance that he was getting sick or what he was sick. I can't assume anything, but I do believe, he wasn't like the rest of us that we just found out and then he dies, a little while later, right? I think he was well aware of what's going on. So I think he had time to kind of like, okay, let's do what we got to do because we know this is going to happen. And Chadwick Boseman, before he passed away, he did mention the fact that he wants it recast. He doesn't want to be the only Black Panther, but he wants it recast. I don't think M'Baku should be the guy. I think the actor is great.
No, get another Black man as an actor. Give someone else the role and be able to make it his own.
This becomes a Brandon Lee Crow situation, right? You get another actor to do it, and no one wants to accept it.
So it's big shoes to fill, and I get about 100,000% get it, but they want to at least give the respect and time, and then like you can't just like grab somebody, throw somebody in.
Yeah, it's a hard.
Yeah, give me a variant.
Because even if it wasn't Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther himself is a huge character in the MCU to as a role to fill. Yeah. Then Chadwick just brought that so much higher, so then you have that to fill in. So like having that boy, like give it time, let it like do its thing.
It has to be somebody. Has to be somebody of equal valor, I guess. I don't know. This guy. If I would to recast him in some way, I would probably recast him with Denzel Washington's son. I forget his name.
John David Washington.
Yeah,
that's who I thought. That's who I always.
He's probably a good. He'd probably be a good choice because he's a good actor. He's a respectable actor. The guy who's playing Blade, Mahershala Ali, he would have been perfect if he didn't want to go for Blade. I think he would have been perfect for that kind of role. It had to be someone of equal stature. It can't be someone lesser. That's the point. When it comes to Chadwick, it has to be someone of equal stature that will respect him. Just like Joaquin Phoenix took over the mantle of Joker, because when Jared Leto did, even though they're completely different characters, no one wanted to accept Jared Leto's Joker, which really wasn't a bad Joker.
I love
That laugh killed me.
He didn't make me laugh. That's the only thing I didn't like about it.
That was an awful Joker.
He actually could have been a really
High
good
five to him.
Joker. I think he was written wrong.
Mhm.
I think he was
He
written
didn't
wrong.
get enough.
Jared Leto was actually a really good actor.
He was a
Yeah.
you want to know what it is, Jared Leto. I think he's trying to find his niche as a character because he goes all out as these characters, but he's just been given really bad scripts. And the Suicide Squad movie, that first one, David Ayers, the studio, and I remember too that it was some fans that took the studio to court because they were like, they made it seem that the Joker was going to be in this movie, and it was like they were like, it's false advertisement. They were like, they took a lot of his scenes and cut it on the floor. That's how mad fans were about that. I was like, Jesus Christ.
It was overall bad writing.
Yeah,
and all
it
that
was
stuff.
really bad.
But one of the problem with his Joker to me was it didn't make me laugh. Every Joker I watch makes me laugh, even when they're doing something sadistic. That's kind of the draw to the Joker. It's like you're kind of enjoying what he's doing, even though what he's doing is wrong. Right? That's my take on that.
I don't think. I mean, if I think about Dark Knight's Joker, there was nothing that laughable. I think it was more like, he was
funny.
Funny.
Want to see a
or
want to see a pencil disappear? Like he had moments where like
moments.
It was like maybe not haha laughter, but like oh shit,
Like,
you know,
oh,
like
fuck.
that's
The pencil.
when
he sees Harvey when he sees Harvey in the hospital, and he just
in the
goes
nurse's
up, takes the
outfit,
and the nurse, and he's like, "Hi."
Okay, all right. You know what? Yeah, you know what? I
Walk
forgot
He's
about
walking
that.
away
Okay.
from the hospital. He's
It's
walking
been a while
away
since
from
I've
the
when he's
seen
walking
it.
away and he's pressing the button.
You know, he has so
Okay.
many moments that make you laugh, and what you know he's doing is wrong, but he's making you laugh doing it. And with Chadwick Boseman, you have to get someone that has that prestige in them already. So that's why it has to be someone that's well established in some way to be acceptable. As far as the future goes, we got Miss Marvel next, which I think is might be a sleeper hit in a way.
Really
It could just be another Runaways or another Cloak and Dagger. I don't think it has a lot of hype.
Well, here's the thing.
It was
That one, Cloak and Dagger and Runaways was done by a different studio because remember the TV division,
Yeah, I know.
and they were divided, so it's not being done by the TV division.
No, but what I'm saying is it might fall under the umbrella of like teen centered TV in that way.
Like,
I think Thor is the one that we're expecting the most out of. And I think that we gotta wait and see how this one goes. I'm not gonna go with my hopes high, even though they kind of already are, because man, Jane Foster, Natalie Portman look fierce. You know what I mean?
But we are
we at the 2-hour mark. All right, we gotta start.
So there's that. So my take is I'm looking forward to Miss Marvel. Definitely looking forward to She-Hulk. She-Hulk probably has a lot of hope.
That's
Secret Invasion as well.
Biggest things I'm looking forward to is She-Hulk right now. She's one of my faves.
And of course Thor. I love the last one, so I can't wait for the next one.
So plug away, bro. Where can we find you?
Oh yeah, you can find me right there in the Izzyverse. I'm all over the place. I'm gonna make a special announcement right now. I'm gonna give you guys an exclusive. The website is launching. It's going to be launching on June 1st. I made the decision that the website's going to launch on June 1st, in which I want to have a lot of other stuff, materials, wrestling, comics. We're going to do shows. I'm going to do CradleCon this week. So come out to that. And if you don't know where I'm at, I'm really easy. Look for that logo, Izzyverse on YouTube. That's what I'm looking for. We're almost at 600 subscribers. So I'm excited about that.
Congrats.
Thanks.
So I want to thank you for coming on, and guys, it's been another we've been going at it for 2 hours, 2 weeks in a row.
That's why when I did my reviews, I kept them separate.
Right.
Yeah,
We advertised that this was an extra long episode, so it's fine.
yeah.
Yep.
We prepared.
A lot of these has been longer, and they had to. There's no way we could have broken this up and tried to do them any other way.
Next
But,
week we're talking.
Wonder Duck with George.
We were talking Wonder
George
Duck with
Medina will be
George,
on.
and we'll figure out something else.
We'll
'cause I
figure
think-
out some pop culture shit to talk about as well.
We got Wonder Duck, and then 2 weeks we got Phil Russell talking about again his book Tragedy, and then we'll get into talking about Halo. And then we got another guest coming for you guys on the 31st. So we got some great stuff coming up. We are definitely going to touch up on Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, I heard the big news. Someone Fincher is doing an episode.
Wait.
David Fincher.
Ooh, that's gonna be awesome.
Oh, nice.
That's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't wait
coming out the 20th, correct?
Yep, the
Yeah.
20th.
So that's the
Um,
20th, and then we'll probably
Stranger
talk
Things
about
is
that
coming
on
back.
The 20th.
It's finally coming back.
finally coming back.
Baby.
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan
Oh,
is
we're gonna
the
be talking about that.
25th.
Love, Death, and Robots we get soon.
Yeah, May 20th.
And then yeah, there's just a lot of stuff to talk about. So guys, we got some great stuff coming into this June, August, just whenever. We're gonna have another anime episode, another anime slam, because we were just been talking in the background, throwing around a bunch of anime that we
Yo,
gotta give each other homework.
I
to
feel
watch.
like every
And-
season has been giving us great anime.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, we're gonna close this out, guys. And you ready? This has been your boy Sebastian
It's been your boy Law.
And your boy Tone from across the hall.
with
B-Mac.
Yay!
And Izzy.
And Izzy. Izzy Burst, thank you.
Thanks,
Peace out,
guys.
everybody.
Thanks for having me.
music in 3, 2, 1, go.